Rockstar! Ready? Let's go.
Welcome everyone to the heart of the Centennial State. We're just about 2.5 hours as the crow flies off to the west of downtown Denver. We're here at beautiful Copper Mountain for day 3 of 5 of the Dew Tour 2021. Taking a look at some recaps from yesterday's action out here on the mountain. It was a big day here on the Slopestyle course for the men of ski. Slopestyle had qualifying. Then in the halfpipe yesterday, we had qualifiers for both the men and the women of snowboarding. So there was big action all over the mountain yesterday. Had a bit of a weather delay on Wednesday with some fresh snow. We had some really rough winds and some low visibility conditions to deal with. But yesterday afternoon, it was beautiful bluebird skies, and it was all business out here on the mountain as we get set to kick off our first final event of the weekend out here at Copper Mountain. But look at these beautiful shots of the action yesterday. Everybody trying to earn some valuable qualification points, trying to earn their spot at the Olympics coming up in February of next year. Sean White making an appearance out here, trying to do his bidding to get in to compete at the Olympics in China. So that is a look back to how it all went down yesterday. So they're blowing fresh snow out here on the mountain. It is another beautiful day as the Dew Tour makes its return here to Copper Mountain, Colorado. It's been almost 2 years since we've been out here hosting a Dew Tour, and we are happy to be back, and we are getting back into action bright and early out here this morning. So greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome out here to this beautiful resort that has played host to the event here for the last 2 years. I'm Jimmy Coleman. I've got the legend Tom Walsh sitting next to me here, and we've got Tina Dixon out in the field. And well, Tom, we get to start things off here with the women's ski Superpipe final presented by Toyota, and they had qualification the other day, and we've narrowed the field down to 8, but it was Eileen Gu with a commanding performance to be the top qualifier coming into this event.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm looking forward to a really good event. Pipe running good, and Eileen Gu has been on a tear, coming off a big air win, a Grand Prix win. She's looking unstoppable. Can she do it again out here today?
Yeah, but you had Kelly Sildaru that was also nipping on her heels. She was our number 2 qualifier. This is how it works. We've narrowed the field down to 8. They're going to get, I believe it's 3 runs out here today in the final. The best possible score you can get is 100 points. The judges, they're working off that 100-point scale. It's the best run that counts, and you see that tagline right there. Overall impression. Tom, break down the judging criteria. How is this going to unfold today?
Yeah, exactly. Top to bottom run, they want to see everything from progression, new tricks, amplitude. So that's how high out of the Superpipe they go. The variety of tricks, different grabs, different rotations, how they're executed, and of course, how many big spins we're going to see and big flips, that trick difficulty.
Well, the big story coming out of the qualifying round, we talked about the weather. You had snow, you had high winds, you had low visibility, but the women were able to put down some big runs, and we've got our top 8. But the big story was Kelly Sildaru and Eileen Gu, your top 2 qualifiers, Tom.
Yeah, this is Eileen Gu, and she has just been skiing so well. Really good in the Superpipe lately. She has a full run we could see with inverted and corked maneuvers on almost every wall. So really looking forward to seeing what she can bring to the table today. And Kelly Sildaru, who's been on the scene since she was only 13 years old, still killing it, back-to-back 900s, big rotations. It really is, for me, going to be a battle between these 2 women today, as well as some of the Americans in the field looking to get a podium result and qualify to Beijing.
Yeah, and with those weather conditions the other day during qualifying, speed seemed to be an issue, but we won't have that today. But right now, let's check in with the third member of our team,
Good morning,
Tina
Jimmy
Dixon.
and Tom. It is so fantastic to be back here at the bottom of a half pipe here at Copper Mountain and for Dew Tour, getting ready for the women's ski pipe, watching practice, and it is setting up to be a fantastic day for an event. The visibility is good. The speeds are good. The skiers like the shape of the half pipe, and right now there is very little wind to speak of. Now, in terms of the actual competition, you just cannot say enough about Eileen Gu. You know, it was a week ago that she won the Grand Prix here in the half pipe. You know, she told me she wasn't able to put together the run that she wanted to. Conditions were a little bit slow, so look for her to do that. Also, keep your eyes out for Kelly Sildaru. She is back in the half pipe, as well as Olympic gold medalist Cassie Sharp, returning from a knee injury. But all in all, Jimmy, it is setting up to be a beautiful day out here, guys.
Tina just broke all of that down for us. We don't have to do anything here, Tom. We can just sit back and wait for this competition to unfold. So we talked about Kelly Sildaru and Eileen Gu, but let's talk about Cassie Sharp, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. The reigning Olympic gold medalist coming off a knee injury, and really her first contest back last weekend, and she put together some really solid runs. I'm looking for her to build on that momentum and build on the tricks in that run as she makes another push for another Olympics and another potential gold medal.
Well, we run them in reverse order as to how they qualified. So Cassie ended up qualifying in the 6th position, so she's going to run in the number 3 spot here as we get into the competition here. But taking a look at our start list, there are your 8 finalists. So again, here in the Superpipe final presented by Toyota, they got 2 runs in qualifying. It's 3 runs this go around. It's the better of your 3 runs that are hopefully going to get you on that podium. And we talked about valuable Olympic ski team qualifying points here for the Olympics. Let's take a look at the standings here. Here's a look at the U.S. free ski team's current Olympic qualification standings, showing athletes who are closest to achieving criteria to be nominated to Team USA for the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. There are multiple pathways to qualify for Olympic teams this year, including FIS points, list, and podium results at tryout events. So a beautiful shot right there. Things are looking great out here at Copper Mountain, and we are set to go here. We started off with a competitor representing China here. This is Kashin Zhang making it in, squeaking in there on that bubble spot the other day in qualifying. She is going to start us off here. She competed at the 2018 Olympics, finished 7th place at the Copper Grand Prix on this very mountain just last week.
Nice clean half pipe.
So getting our first look at the Superpipe today, and it looks like there's no snow in that flat bottom, something that would normally slow some of these women down. And right off the top, one of the biggest rotations we'll see all day, a 1080 on that top hit. So lots of speed, no issues with the speed today. A couple straight airs to maintain here in the bottom. Nice 540, but the top hit, that was a 1080. Right off the top.
So rolling the dice early on here. Again, this is round number 1. They're going to get 3 runs here in the final. Judges are working off of that 100-point scale as we take a look at Kashin's first run here.
Yeah, here we are at the top. And in the slow-mo, you can see doesn't quite get the grab on that one. So the judges, a part of that overall impression and a part of that trick difficulty and execution is the grab on these tricks. A lot of good rotations, but just missing the grab. But still, the 3-run format leads for a lot of opportunity to build on each run, and that's going to be a solid score to start, and she can go back out and try to improve on that.
So she checks in with a 78 flat. That's the best part of going first. You're in the lead no matter what, so we'll see how this unfolds as we move on. Taking a look right now at Brita Sigourney. She is in the lead on U.S. free ski team Olympic qualification points. She also was a bronze medalist in women's ski superpipe at the 2018 Olympics. She also happens to be a 4-time X Games pipe medalist. She has 2 silver and 2 bronze to her name.
Known for her amplitude, so definitely one of the major points in Superpipe is how high out of the pipe you can go. And if you can get higher out on that height meter, that always leads to higher scores, and there's a big alley-oop on that hit. Started off with the 900, where we've seen her do a much more solid tail grab on that one. Perhaps a little bit short on the grab, but overall full run, the 540, will she get? Oh. Looking for a final hit there. She normally has a right side 720 that she does at the bottom of that run, so perhaps just ran out of a little bit of pipe there, but a great start for Brita. I'm sure her dog Sadie is at home watching and barking at this one right now. Here's that alley-oop. So look at that height meter all day. We're going to be talking about that because amplitude is the way you can set yourself out in Superpipe. A lot of these women have similar tricks. There's a lot of the 900s and the big 720s being done. But if you can do those 10, 15 feet out, that'll really, really help your score. And let's look back at that first hit where she's usually really dialed on that, getting a left-hand tail grab. So any lack of grab is going to be a deduction.
So she's going to check in with a 62.50, so that's going to slide her just behind Jishin Zhang for right now. We mentioned her being the leader in the U.S. free ski team Olympic qualification points. She's almost got a 300-point lead over the rest of the pack. Coming up next, though, we talked about her being your defending Olympic gold medalist in Superpipe, also the winner of the modified pipe event here last year, as we welcome in Cassie Sharp.
Just an incredible story to come back from that knee injury. This past season at the X Games event, she was doing a 1260, the biggest rotation ever done by a woman in the halfpipe, and just unfortunately going down. But this, less than a year later, to be back competing on the world stage, just to be in finals is incredible, let alone putting down solid runs throughout all these events. Oh, and there's a big flare rotation. So anytime you see going fully upside down, fully inverted, that's the flare. There's the right side 720, so a switch hit here to keep things going. She does have a corked out 900 she can do, and there's one to the right. Will we see the left side 900 as well? Yes, back-to-back 900s for Cassie Sharp, and a great way to start things off really there in run number one.
So our top two scores thus far, we've got a 78 flat and a 62.50 as we await the score here for Cassie. Also a 5-time X Games medalist. She's got 2 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze to her name.
Here we take a look back at the top where she's just tweaking that grab. So solid straighter. If I was going to say just one thing, there's just a few sort of hits in this run where she's not, we're used to seeing her do a 1080 at the bottom, and I'm sure she's building back to that world-class gold medal performance, but just incredible to see her fit the back-to-back 900s and a couple of those other rotations in there, and just like less than a year after the knee injury. You can't say it enough. Coming back from an ACL trauma like that is just so difficult. So just impressive to see her out here laying those tricks down again with so much fluidity and style.
So an 81.75, so she is going to move to the top spot in the rankings, just 3 skiers deep, and we are into the 80s here, Tom. So Cassie Sharp is the high mark to beat as of right now. Halfpipe out here at Copper Mountain, 22-foot high walls. They've got 575 feet to work with from top to bottom right here as we go back up top. And we're going to bring in Hannah Faulhaber from Carbondale, Colorado, just 17 years old. She is actually ranked 3rd right now on the U.S. Free Skiing Olympic qualification points with 453, and she's in for her first of 3.
And I'll tell you, just making it to the finals here and going big, making to the finals here is such a great start to continuing that path to qualifying, because really, you're guaranteed that top 8, let alone maybe even getting onto the top 3 or top 5 and scoring some major points toward qualifying for Beijing. And this amplitude is huge. Look at the height meter. It's been above 6. It's been as high as 13, and that is a big run for Hannah, starting things off with that absolutely gigantic 15-foot air up at the top. And that is, I mean, I can't tell you, this 22-foot Superpipe, 15 feet above it, you're almost 40 feet off the ground at this point. Let's take a look. Ginormous.
Just boosting right there.
Gets the grab. We also saw some big technical moves, so judges are combining all those aspects of the run. The amplitude is a big part, but also trick difficulty, progression, execution. Getting the grab on that flare makes a big difference. Huge flare, huge 900. It's tough for me to say that that's not going to take over the top spot there. Cassie had an amazing run, but Hannah really just came charging with that amplitude. that's going to be a big score.
You see on the average, too, there with the Space Force height meter, with averaging 10 feet on each hit, and then 90 flat, so we're into the 90s here in the opening round. That puts Hannah Faulhaber up on that top spot right there, so she overtakes Cassie Sharp by almost 10 points right there, so a big, big run for her in this opening round. So Hannah Faulhaber in that top spot, Cassie Sharp and Kashin Zhang, your 1, 2, 3 as of right now. Coming up next, though, due to a rookie, only 18 years old, also representing China, this is Feng Hui Li. Looking like she's going to start this off from skier's left side. She was your 4th place qualifier from the other day.
Yeah, hailing from Harbin, China, where they have one of the most epic ice festivals you'll ever see. If you ever get a chance to Google it, it is incredible. Oh! And going down on that switch 5 there. Oh! She was just getting the run started. That was a really technical switch-to-switch move. So switch being backward stance and going pretty much fully blind on that switch inverted 540 and just having some trouble there getting back to her feet.
Just trying to collect herself here at the bottom of the pipe. She took a pretty good knock on that right there, but looking like she's about to, she's waving it off right there. That's a good sign right there. And able to stand up on her own 2 feet right there. Man, that air to fakie was huge too.
Just a really stylish way to start the runoff. You don't see a lot of that. The air to fakie and the switch to switch inverted move like that is really difficult. Both those tricks are really hard, really stylish when you can link them up together. So let's take a look back and see if we can tell what went wrong with this. Here's that air to fakie you were talking about, Jimmy. It is just beautiful. Gets the grab, super smooth, and then perhaps she was looking for the switch 720. No, it looks like she's going for the 540. She wants to land it switch there and just kind of catches up on the coping. So the top of the super pipe we call the coping, and you really just need to find that minute difference of not catching the top and not landing in the bottom to catch the transition perfectly.
So tough break right there. Again, you do get 3 runs, so it is the best run that counts. So hopefully she can shake this one off. She's up talking to comp staff over there, so getting back into the skis. So it looks like she's going to be up and okay, and hopefully we can see her in rounds 2 and 3. But taking a look at our standings here, we're just past the halfway point around at number 1. It's Hannah Faulhaber in that top spot with a 90. And as we mentioned before, that's key because she's 3rd in the standings right now in the U.S. Free Skiing Olympic qualification with 453 points, but followed by Cassie Sharp, and Kashin Zhang. So still lots of skiing here to go in the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota. A beautiful day out here, blowing some snow out here. You going to take some turns later on, Tom?
Oh, you better believe I'm going to be out there. It looks beautiful.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back with our final 3 in the rotation here in round number 1. More to come from the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota. Welcome back, everyone, to Copper Mountain, Colorado, here for Dew Tour 2021. We're in the opening round of 3 here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Final, presented by Toyota. Best run counts out here on the mountain this morning. If you're hoping to stand on the Dew Tour podium, big story right now, Hannah Faulhaber, your top spot with a 90 flat, with lots more skiing still to come. We get ready to bring in Zoe Atkin right now. She was on the podium last year out here in the modified Superpipe competition. She took 3rd place out here, 8th place on this very mountain just last week at the Copper Grand Prix, Tom.
Yeah, getting things going. We're looking for some more amplitude. That seems to be what the judges are liking today. They love seeing the big air, a big 9-foot, 7-inch air up the top there, and back-to-back spins. So spinning to the left and the right, and I can't say it enough. The judges want to see that variety of rotations. Oh, and Atkin going down on the alley-oop flat spin 540 there in the middle of the run. Had a great run going there. So they want to see the back-to-back spins. They want to see left and the right to show your ability to spin both directions. Otherwise, you're just doing one rotation, really both walls, both directions, and there she was doing an alley-oop flat spin, so adding another flip to that run. This had a great start to it, huge left side 540, then it had that right side 720, so left and right mirroring those rotations, and then it was just a little off on the alley-oop flat spin. And when I say alley-oop, that means the athlete's spinning up the pipe, so spinning to the left. Here, we take a look. Spinning to the left while traveling down the pipe to the right. And it really makes it a little bit more difficult to come around and get your feet back under you when you're sort of going the opposite way the pipe wants to take you there. So landing on the inside edge, but we've seen Zoe do that trick a number of times in a number of these events. So look for her to come out in that run number 2 swinging. And if she can put that whole collection of tricks together, it's going to be a big score.
Yeah, that one's going to be a throwaway run for her. That's going to put her down there, the bottom of the pack. As we take a look up top at our next competitor, she is a triple threat. She competes in pipe, she competes in slope, as well as big air. She missed the 2018 Olympics due to knee injury, so she's looking for some redemption here, going into China here in 2022. Talking about Kelly Sildaru, your number 2 qualifier here in pipe just the other day, Tom.
Yeah, can we talk about how just challenging and exhausting it is to compete in 2 events in one day, with the women's slopestyle going on later this afternoon and all the practicing, the warm-ups in between. Just incredible to be able to put together runs in all of these disciplines and making it look easy with back-to-back 900s at the top. You see on the height meter, a little low on the height, but where Kelly sometimes maybe lacks on the amplitude, she makes up for with technical difficulty. Her run has tricks on every wall. Look at this, the switch 540 to the left, a switch 540 to the right. So really doing a ton of different rotations, completely mirroring the whole run with 900s both directions, alley-oop 540s both directions, and those switch 540s. So it's really full of technical difficulty and premier execution. If anything, she just lacks a little bit in the amplitude, but that was a full pull top to bottom, and what a way to start it off for Kelly Sildaru. There's the 900, gets that tail grab there. I mean, her grabs, can we talk about this? It is so important to get the end of the ski when you go for that tail grab, and she doesn't miss a beat on those. All the way to the end, doesn't get on the inside or the outside. No toxic, no Tindy, right to the very, very end of the tail grab, and just the smooth finish. So, I mean, that's got to be a big score. I think that's got to challenge Hannah in that top spot, but Hannah's amplitude was just massive. So judges going to have a tough time comparing those 2 things, the technical difficulty of Kelly's run with the sheer volume of amplitude in Hannah's.
And it is going to challenge. It's a 92 flat. That's going to put Kelly Sildaru in that top spot for now here at the latter part of round number 1. So our top 2 scores in the 90s early on. Kelly Sildaru finds herself in that top spot. Hannah Faulhaber Faulhaber in second now. So now that bubble for the podium here, that's Cassie Sharp with an 81.75. Your number 1 qualifier up next here. She is on a run right now. She too competes in multiple events, both pipe, slope, as well as big air. She's got a win here at the Copper Grand Prix last week. Then prior to that, she took a win down the road Steamboat at the big air event. Not to mention set a record last year with a rookie performance, or earlier this year, I should say, at the X Games by taking 3 medals in 3 different events. This is Eileen Gu.
Yeah, one of the 6 of 8 teenagers in this field. It is just, the sport is dominated by young, incredible women, and there's a huge 900 to start things off. So just like we saw in Kelly's run, Eileen Gu coming out swinging with 900s in both directions, not letting Kelly have anything on her. Going big. Here's the alley-oop flat spin. Will we see the right side version of that trick? We do. Back-to-back alley-oop flat spins. A massive run for China's Eileen Gu.
Look at that highest, almost 11 feet right there, averaging about 7.5 feet with 6 hits here, picking up where she left off in the qualification round, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, the 900's up top. The top hit, she does a right side 900, and she's doing the Buick grab. So a tail grab, Japan grab combo, popularized by American Alex Hall. And look at that. That is the most difficult grab we've seen all day. And with the 2 900s back-to-back, I mean, grabs are locked on. She's got amplitude. This is an incredible run. I've been waiting for her to link these alley-oop flat spins, and she does it in run number 1. I was worried she might hold back, warm up with 3-run final, but no holding back for Eileen Gu. She's been on a tear, hasn't seen anything but the top of the podium for the last few weeks, and I don't know if she's going to see anything else today.
So laying it down early here in a 3-run format, and she too into the 90s, and again we have a lead change, 94.50 to put her in the top spot at the end of round 1. So it is a 90s party here if you're trying to stand on the podium out here at Copper Mountain in the women's ski Superpipe final. A 94.5, a 92 flat, and a 90 flat. So my goodness, this opening round did not disappoint, Mr. Wallish.
Not at all. The pipe seems to be running perfectly for all of these women, and that was just, I mean, run after run of hammers, including that final run from Eileen. Just an incredible performance, throwing a 94.5 off the run number 1. What do we see in the next 2 runs?
So it's Gu, Sildaru, and Faulhaber, your 1, 2, 3. However, you look at Hannah and Brita Sigourney. We talked about it earlier. Brita's in the lead right now for U.S. free ski team Olympic qualification points, and Hannah's a couple of spots ahead of her in the standings, so that would be huge in the points race right there, especially with the Olympics looming here just about 2 months away. But we are going right back into the action. It's round 2 set to start here.
And I'll tell you what helps Hannah a lot. If she's able to stay on that podium, one of the ways to qualify for the U.S. team is with podium results. So a 3rd place here, even if she's not able to win, if she can hold on to 3rd, that is a huge step toward qualifying and making that team for Beijing.
Yeah, she's only 2 spots behind Brita on those standings as of right now. But we get into round 2 here. Once again, this is Kashin Zhang from China.
There's the 1080 off the top. So the only woman in the field we're seeing doing that 1080-degree rotation. That's sort of the biggest rotation we'll see, other than Cassie Sharp, who has that 1260 that she's done in the past. There's a couple big airs in the middle. A 720 and calling it. So another full run. We saw her come out in that first run and throw down a great run. It was the lack of maybe a grab on the 1080, the big spin up top, that kind of held her score back from getting a little bit higher up into the 80s and challenging those top 90 scores. So we'll look at this replay where the judges have access to all this, and there, definitely gets a hand on the grab. So an improvement on run number 1. It's the switch 900 there. So I didn't even really notice how big that switch trick is until I see the replay, because that back-to-back combo there is just huge. Looks for the grab on that one, not quite getting the grab, but the combination itself is just amazing. 1080 to the right, switch left 900. So those are 2 huge tricks, and to put them together in the run one after another is just so difficult.
We'll see if this is an improvement on round number 1. So it will be an improvement on the score. She does crack into the 80s. She bumps up by 2 full points. However, that is not going to improve the standing for now. She will remain in 5th place. So you got Cassie Sharp sitting in 4th now with that 81.75. And then again, you need to get into the 90s if you're going to challenge for the podium. Brita Sigourney up next, currently sitting in that number 6 position. Had a 62.50 that first go around.
Yeah, she just had some major deductions because the judges know how well she can do this 900 up top. And there we go, gets it nice, cork out, back for the tail grab. There's the alley-oop, huge, and the height meter keeps going.
Just 11 feet.
Switch, 360 there to get it back to forward. Into this bottom hit. This is where we saw she didn't do the final hit last run. Gets the right side 720 here in run number 2. So a major improvement for Brita Sigourney there on run number 2. Now, big amplitude, and I saw definitely the grab on the 9 was better. She did have a little scrubbing of the speed there in the middle. So really, for Brita right now, she needs to challenge those podium spots, and she's competing against her American teammate, Hannah Faulhaber, to try to secure those spots to Beijing. So any move up the podium she can, or up the leaderboard right now, is going to be a major help for her on that path. Here's that bottom hit. So she didn't do that trick in run number 1, didn't have enough half pipe, but this in run number 2 is able to get it. Here's that corked out 900 at the top. So much better than run number 1. Able to reach back for that grab, gets it upside down, inverted, looking good.
And going back to that points conversation, like I mentioned before, she's got almost a 300-point lead over the rest of the pack. She's going to improve 75, not going to improve the placing here. So going back to her points, she's at 740.38. Then you got Devin Logan in 2nd, and then Hannah with 453 points. So that's how the point standing look here as of right now. As we move right along with Cassie Sharp, she is on the outside of the top 3 looking in right now with that 81.75, Tom.
Yeah, and on the outside looking in, but she has more tricks. Really
if they say something, I'll
up to Cassie if she wants to bring them out this early in the season. I know her focus is on Beijing, and starting things off with a 900, to me, looks like she's going to add the 1080 to the bottom of her run. We saw back-to-back 900s at the bottom in run number 1, but here she brings the left side 900 at the top. So look for her here at the bottom to add in potentially a 1080. There's the right side 900. Will we see a big rotation? 1080! No!
Not able to hang on.
Oh, and we knew it was coming. That is her pushing the limits and bringing that full run back to what we saw in 2018. She had the 1080 at the end of her run, and that's what led her to Olympic gold. So she's not going to sit around and be happy with 4th. And we know Cassie Sharp is a competitor. Even coming back from that knee injury, she's itching to get back on the podium. And there she is doing some huge rotations with the flare up top, the right side 900 there. And let's take a look at this bottom hit. This is the left side. Cork, 1080, wraps it up, comes around, just doesn't quite get the feet all the way back under her. And I mean, so close. Look for her to come out and run number 3 and put that one down for us. Because, I mean, she is an absolute competitor.
Yeah, she's going to have to stick with that first run score. But, again, just not too far out, sitting in that number 4 position. So we are almost at the halfway point here of round 2 out of 3. We've got Hannah Faulhaber coming up next. She currently sits in the number 3 position. But let's check in once again with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, Jimmy, you have to remember that this is Hannah's first Dew Tour, and what a performance so far. You know, she only really started competing at the pro level just a few years ago. Already has that 90, has 2 more runs, but you know, this event's really important as she is seeking her very first Olympic appearance.
Well, she's been on skis since the age of 3, but how about that for your rookie Dew Tour performance? You're already sitting on a potential podium spot right now with a score of 90 with 2 more runs to go, Tom.
Yeah.
Look at the height.
The height is huge, and you know, I know what that feels like. If you can come out with a good first run, that takes the pressure off, and now she's going even bigger, starting things off 16 feet on that top hair. Here's the back-to-back flares. She is just in such a good mindset. just going for it. The 900 at the bottom, no!
She's going down on that one.
Did you see one of those top hits? She was over 16 feet.
One of the biggest
16
airs
foot
of the
two.
day. Yeah, I mean, that is just gigantic.
Thank you, Space Force height meter.
Wow. I mean, honestly, almost to the moon on that one. And you could just tell, seeing her at the top of her run, the smile, the excitement, she's already just ecstatic to be here. The 90 to start things off.
Look at that.
She wasn't holding back on this second run. 16 feet, 2 inches on that top air, right into the huge 720. I mean, if the 900 could get put down at the end and she's going 16 feet out, I'm telling you, that's going to be an improvement. I mean, falling on that final hit takes her out of the running on this run. But with those gigantic flares, the 900 and a 16-foot air, I mean, that could challenge and help move her up the leaderboard from third into second or first if she's able to really continue to pump up that amplitude, because it's just what no other women are doing. No one else is going 16 feet out of that Superpipe.
It'll definitely make things interesting in that third and final round, so she'll stick with that first run score for now. And due to her rookie, it's got her in a podium position as of now. Take a look up top here, bring back in Feng Hui Li, taking a pretty heavy hit there in that first run. So again, just props to her for getting back up and being able to carry on and continue in this competition.
Yeah, just goes to show you how tough all these women are in the field. I mean, this Superpipe it's not soft. It's not fresh powder. This thing is hard, icy, shaped to perfection. And if you go down, it's definitely going to leave a mark. But let's see if she can link up that air to fakie and that big switch hit that we saw her attempt in run number 1. Here's where she went down. Gets the switch inverted 540 without a problem here in run number 2. Switch left side. And there's a big 900 to the right, so huge improvements. 540, will she get one more trick?
There's that right.
Oh, the 720 just as she's running out of half pipe. So a major improvement, and I love that second trick. It is so blind, it's so upside down, it's impossible to see where you're going on that switch. Inverted 540 and just brings it around so smooth on that one. Doesn't let the fall in run number 1 hamper at all. She comes right back and stomps it in run number 2. So here's where she had the missteps in run number 1. Gets the air to fakie again, great. Goes inverted on the switch 5, so don't see this from a lot of women. Gets it perfectly to the skis this time, no issues. And then she starts to boost. After the switch hits are done, she starts bringing a little bit more of the amplitude. Gets the 900 and a 720. Really adding technical difficulty to the run.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you could see how visibly stung she was at the end of that first run. So again, props to her for getting back up, continuing. She was in the bottom of the pack there with a 10, so she was down at the very bottom. So we'll see how far this moves her up the food chain.
Yeah, that's got to be an improvement. I mean, just a lot of good runs. Look how big that last 720 is. A lot of good runs. So where does that stack up? It's got to put her up in the middle of the pack there. Don't know if that's enough to take over any of the top spots, but is going to be a major improvement.
So there you go. She's into the 80s with an 81 flat, so that'll put her in the number 5 position. So she overtakes her teammate Kashin Zhang right there. So nicely done. And again, you know, props to you, Feng Hui, for getting back up. I mean, it took her a bit to get up out of that flat bottom and collect herself. So happy to see her back in the lineup. Eileen Gu still at your top spot right now, followed by Kelly Sildaru and Hannah Faulhaber here as we get to the bottom part of round 2 out of 3. Zoe Atkin up next. Had a crash there in that first round. It's got her down at the bottom of the pack as of right now with an 18.50.
Yeah, Zoe looking to make a big improvement here. Run number 2. That's why you get 3 runs. The judges want to see, you know, they want to see big tricks. They want to see big runs. They don't want you playing it safe. So 3-run format really enables you to try for your absolute hardest run and try it 3 times in a row. There's the alley-oop flat spin where she fell in run number 1, having no issues on it this time. switch hit here at the bottom, the switch 540. So a little low on the height meter, but you can see it's high still. An 11.5-foot air up there at the beginning. So a big air, gets the alley-oop flat spin. So a big inverted trick. She's got some big spins in there. So good variety. That's another part of the judging criteria. They don't want to see just spins. They'd love to see spins and flips and corks, and all of those different rotations add to the variety score. There's that switch 720 muscling it around, so lacking a little bit on the amplitude, but just great technical difficulty. Gets the flip. Here's that final switch hit, reaching for the grab. I mean, it's going to be a major improvement over 18.5 points, but how far up that leaderboard is it going to get her?
We will wait and see. So she's got to do that nervous moment where you're hanging out down there in the corral area waiting for your score to populate. So there you go, a 77.50. That's only going to bump her up one spot. So she moves from 8th to 7th. So Zoe's parents in the mix out here today at Copper Mountain. So that puts Brita Sigourney in that number 8 spot for now here with 2 skiers left to go in round number 2. Remember, it's 3 runs here in the finals. But before we see Kelly Sildaru, let's check in once again with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, and it was just a few months ago that Kelly actually broke that left hand. She's still got it protected. Maybe that's why she's not skiing with poles out here, guys. But it hasn't really slowed her down. You know, she won the first slopestyle of the season in November. She's got a great score, 92, and now she's dropping in for her second run.
Yeah, we didn't mention that hand injury in the first run. That's why she wasn't skiing with poles in qualification and why she's going sans poles here today, Tom.
Yeah, that's great reporting from Tina. And amazing, though. I mean, obviously the hand, you need it to grab, though. I know she doesn't have the poles, but a broken hand nonetheless. How do you grab the skis still with that? So amazing for Kelly to still be out here absolutely doing this run. Switch 900 there, so upping the technical difficulty.
The switch right down the pipe.
Wow. Okay, so Kelly didn't want to just sit back and relax with the 92. She wanted to bring out something a little bit crazier to challenge Eileen Gu. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing these two battle not only all day today in both of the events, but all season long. There's the 900 up top, reaching down, gets the grab. There's the tail grab on the left side, 900. And just incredible. She's able to get those grabs so well. Then goes for the alley-oop down here. And where we saw her mirror that trick in run number 1, instead, we see her trying to bring it out with the switch 900 here at the bottom. So big improvement on the technical difficulty. Again, a little low on the amplitude, but that's got to be an improvement just by the sheer magnitude of that switch 900 being added to the run.
So 2 solid runs there for Kelly Sildaru. She had 93.
And 93.
So she had a 92 the first go round, so she does bump up 1 point right there. So it's going to improve the points, but not the placing. So she will stay in that number 2 spot for right now. What's it going to take to try to overtake Eileen Gu here, Tom?
I think if she can do that run and lock in the grab a little bit better on that switch 900, maybe up the amplitude just a hair, that could get there. I mean, she's a 1.5 points away from Eileen Gu. The only thing Eileen Gu has that Kelly doesn't have is those big inverted maneuvers. So the alley-oop double or the alley-oop flat spin both ways. Having both of those tricks is just helping her stand out. And honestly, if Kelly can lock in those grabs, she's going to have a chance.
So here we go, round number 2 here, capping off the run order here. Your current leader with a 94.5, Eileen Gu.
And again, starting things off, I mean, Eileen Gu is just skiing so good. You can tell in the confidence of her skiing, the way she powers through the Superpipe. Huge switch, inverted 720, so already upping the ante on this run. Will we see the back-to-back flat spins? All the way to the bottom. That is the run she has been training all fall. We saw her in Sausage do that run for the first time, and that could be one of the most technically difficult women's Superpipe runs I've ever seen. Wow, Eileen Gu not holding anything back, sitting in first place. She's already sitting on the top spot and doesn't mind bringing more technical difficulty to the run. She's got the 2 900s up top, and look at the grabs. I mean, can't say it enough. Getting corked out, and here's the improvement. We saw switch 360. In run number 2, she goes switch 720, gets inverted, finishes with those alley-oop flat spins, and I mean, that's got to be an improvement. And honestly, I don't know if anybody can catch her, Jimmy. That is one of the best runs in women's Superpipe, and I'm not sure anybody else in the field has that level of technical difficulty.
Yeah, she already had a 1.5 difference over at the number 2 spot, and she ups the ante with a 96 flat, so increasing her point total right there. My goodness, what a huge run. Let's check in once again with Tina.
Oh, and she just keeps adding and adding to your run. That switch inverted 7. First of all, how did that run feel overall?
That run felt really, really good. That was my first time combining the switch cork 7 and the right alley-oop rodeo in the same run in a contest. So that's a step up for me. And, you know, we got one more run, so let's see what we have.
Yeah, with a 96, guys, and she does have one more run. Thanks, Eileen.
I like how casual she was about that. Let's see what we have. What else is in the trick bag? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
That's what it is, though. Eileen Gu is so good, and she's just so confident out there. I mean, I don't know if anybody can beat her.
So at the end of 2 rounds of 3 here, our top 3 have not changed. However, we saw Kelly Sildaru increase her points from 92 to 93, and Eileen Gu go from 94.5 to a monster 96. So your cutoff point's still that 90 flat if you're going to jump into the top 3. But keep an eye on Cassie Sharp right there, just on the bubble on the outside looking in. It's one more round to go. And the big story, Brita Sigourney, as we keep talking about, your leader on the U.S. free ski team Olympic qualification point standing. She's down at the bottom of the pack in 8 right now, which is a bit shocking.
It is a bit shocking, and honestly, though, the fact that she's in 8th with a 75. I mean, that's still a high score. The level today in the halfpipe for the women is just so high that a full run with a ton of great tricks is still only good enough for 8th place, but if somebody's got to be at the bottom of the pack. That's just how it works.
Yeah, the bottom 2 scores, 8th and 7th. You got a 75 and a 77.5. Then 6th on up to 4th, we're into the 80s, and then a dominant performance by your top 3 right now, all into the 90s. That is how we stand here after 2 of 3 rounds here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota.
Yeah, and one to watch for Hannah Faulhaber in that 3rd place position. If she can maintain, if no one steps above that 90-point score that she laid down in run number 1, she's going to be well on her way with a podium result, well on her way to qualifying for the U.S. team for Beijing. So she's got a 9-point difference from Cassie Sharp and some of the other Chinese competitors. If she can just hold on to that and sit in 3rd, it's going to be not only her best result ever and first Dew Tour event, but also a huge step on that path to qualify.
Well, here in this final, it's all about making the podium here for our Team USA competitors as we get set to kick off the 3rd and final round. This is it. Last chance for all 8 of these women in the field here. Remember, it is best run that counts. We are back up to the top of the order with Kexin Zheng, who currently sits in that number 6 position.
And how about the number of athletes from China? We have 3 women in the field from the nation, and just incredible.
Oh, no, just getting caught on the lip.
Just incredible to see how good they're all getting in the Superpipe event. That's the most active nationality in this final by far, and it's just incredible their level of skiing and unfortunately going down on that 1080 at the top where, I mean, that's a massive rotation. The fact that she landed at both of those first 2 runs, perhaps I wasn't getting excited enough about it, because honestly, that combination up top is incredible, and just, it almost lulled me to sleep how good she was doing those back-to-back rotations.
Well, that's going to leave her in that number 6 spot. So here we go with Brita Sigourney. We mentioned at the top of the run order here, she's down in that number 8 spot. So this is a crucial 3rd and final run for her.
Yeah, look for her to really try to improve on this top hit. She continues to try to just lock in the grab a bit better and go higher. And
massive on that first hit.
Yeah, almost 10 feet out. There's the alley-oop, and almost more than the height meter. You can see how far down the half pipe she travels. So anytime you're traveling down the pipe really far, as well as amplitude, that's just that momentum keeping. There's the 540. Here's the right side 720. Oh, okay. Puts it down again. That was clean, but was it clean enough to move a big step up on that leaderboard. She's sitting on a 75, and we see Zoe Atkin down there in 7th with a 77.5. I mean, there's just such a high level that are the grabs, is the technical difficulty and the amplitude in this run enough?
How far she travels down the pipe on that?
A whole green square. So an entire green square is, I mean, that's a part of amplitude that we don't get. We have the height meter to see how high out she goes, but traveling down the half pipe is so incredibly difficult as well. That's tough. I can't tell if that's going to be a great improvement. She just kind of comes around on this right side 720. We're used to seeing the left hand touch the safety grab and her make the full 720-degree rotation.
So she's going to bump up 1.5 points, but again, it's not going to improve the placing, so she is going to stay there in 8th place. It is a tough go here in the women's ski superpipe final. You got Cassie Sharp coming up next. There's the family down there, friends and family area representing out here. She currently sits outside the top 3 with an 81.75 that she posted up in run number 1. Again, this is your 2018 Olympic superpipe gold medalist.
Yeah, great to see her brother Darcy down there, who you'll see in the men's field for slopestyle competing. Just an incredibly talented Canadian family there. And really, yeah, Cassie's got the tricks. We saw her bring the 1080 in run number 2, but go down on the final hit. So look for that final hit on the skier's right side, hooker's left wall. If she can get the 1080 added to this run, that's going to make a big improvement from the 81 and could move her up into that top 3. Right side 720, there's the big switch 360. And here's where we see that combination. Right 900, left side 1080.
Oh, tough break there at the end of the run.
But honestly, just so impressive, so incredible that she's back out here. She's been a dominant force in women's superpipe for so long. She's been in every event, X Games golds, Olympic golds, everything. And to come back from that knee injury and get that close to putting that 1080 down, look for her these next few weeks to work on that one, and I expect to see her land in that again soon. Here's that bottom combination, the right side 900 into the left side 1080, and just, again, coming up a little short on the total rotation. So you got to get the feet all the way around to that 1080 degrees, and just maybe just a lack of practice on that one, but she's got that trick. She's going to be bringing that one out perfectly in our next event, I guarantee it.
So she'll have to settle for 4th place as of now. As we move right along, this is Hannah Faulhaber, who currently sits in that number 3 position. And the story that we keep talking about here is she's in 3rd place on the overall U.S. free ski team Olympic qualification points. So with Brita Sigourney being down there in 8th place, this will be a huge finish for her if she can maintain that podium spot here, Tom.
And she is pushing it. Will we see her go even bigger? Another massive air to start things off. Huge 720. Hannah is not content with just 3rd. She wants to go bigger, better. There's the flare. Back, opposite flare. I mean, so much talent in the field. There's the 900. Hannah, I mean, just incredible. These teenagers in the field are here to stay. Hannah, in her first Dew Tour appearance, is not scared of anything, not scared of going 15 feet out of the superpipe, and just, wow.
14.5 feet on her biggest hit.
Yeah, here's that top hit. So not quite as massive as we saw in number 2, where she went 16 feet, but still some of the highest amplitude of the day of any of these women, and just so young. The amount of confidence to come out here in your first event like this and not hold back, not going slow, not playing it safe, and that's what I love to see, the big inverted flare rotations. Here's the 900 at the bottom, gets the grab, brings it around. We saw her fall on that run in run number 2. So a great run. Is it an improvement on the 90? It's very similar with the technical difficulties, perhaps a bit bigger amplitude than run number 1. It could be an improvement. I don't know, can it challenge Kelly or Eileen?
And it is an improvement. improvement, she gets 3/4 of a point, so a 90.75. It improves the score, not the placing. She'll stay in 3rd place as of right now, but it did give herself a little bit of breathing room. So if you want to play the age game here, you've got a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 19-year-old sitting on your Dew Tour Women's Ski Superpipe podium.
All that does is make me feel old, Jimmy. The teenagers are here, and it's just incredible to see the next crop of women coming out here to slay the Superpipe.
Well, with 4 skiers left to go, and the last 2 that we see in the top 3, that means there's only 2 skiers left that stand between Hannah Faulhaber and a possible podium finish out here in her rookie Dew Tour performance. Right now, we've got Feng Hui Lee entering the pipe for her 3rd and final outing.
Okay, here's those switch rotations we saw. The switch inverted 5. Oh, gets it great on the landing there. So a little low in the amplitude, but the technical difficulty of that switch trick is just only woman in the field doing it. So that stands out. That's progression. That's variety. That helps you really showcase your variety over some of the other women. And the amplitude by the end, she was really pumping it up. It was started a little slow, and then by the end, she was going huge in the Superpipe.
Yeah, let's not forget, she took a heavy knock in that first run. It took her a while to get up, so I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Hats off to her to get back up and continuing on in this contest.
Yeah, fell on that trick really hard, lost both skis, hit the ground for a while, and to get back up and do that same trick again and just have the confidence to get back up, try it, and put it down. And here's where she builds the amplitude. You can see once she's into the forward skiing tricks, the forward 900 and 540, she's definitely pumping through the transition of the Superpipe, and that's where her biggest airs of the day come here at the bottom with a massive 720. That was another huge run. It's just all the women out here today aren't holding back. This is go time.
Yeah, she had that 10 from round number 1, had her at the bottom of the pack, and run number 2, she comes back up after the fall, posts up an 81. It's got her in 5th place pre-run as we await the score here. So she'll bump up a half a point with an 81.50, but not improve the placing. So she's going to finish out in 5th on the morning with only 3 skiers left to go here. And this is crucial because this is the last one who's on the outside of the podium looking in. We talked about this earlier. High 70s and you're down there at the bottom of the pack. This is Zoe Atkin representing Great Britain here.
Yeah.
And honestly, she had an amazing run. That
right below it.
77 is a great score. It's just today the level's so high. You need to be in the high 80s, actually in the 90s just to be on the podium. That's just great skiing by all the women out here.
Yeah, that 90 bar got set early on around the one. Oh, Zoe going down here.
Just not getting that switch 7 around. And with that, though, with Zoe falling on that and with Kelly and Eileen left to go on the podium, that means that Hannah's going to be on the podium today. But what are we going to see out of these last 2? Is Kelly going to challenge and continue to push to try to knock Eileen Gu off that top spot?
What is it going to take? We know the names now that will be on the podium. We know that Hannah's going to finish in 3rd. The question is, who's going to stand in the number 1 and the number 2 position? It all comes down to these last 2 runs. From Tallinn, Estonia, this is Kelly Sildaru.
Yeah.
Her best run score of a 93 flat that we saw in round number 2, but she's got a 92 and a 93. She's in for her 3rd and final attempt.
This is her opportunity to challenge Eileen Gu. If she doesn't improve her score, Eileen Gu will have the win and have a victory lap. But Kelly doesn't want that to happen. She's going for the same run right now, but looking to get those grabs, lock in all the tricks as good as possible to get that execution score. Here's that switch hit where we see the 900 again. Switch 900 into the bottom, switch right. Okay, so does the same run as we saw in round number 2. That got her that 93-point score. Improving the grabs on a couple of those hits, but in all honesty, it looked very similar to run number 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see it right around that low 90, in the 90 to 93 range. I don't know if that can knock Eileen's score. Eileen did so many hard tricks. Kelly's got amazing rotations, but Eileen's got the alley-oop flat spins, the inverted stuff. She's got the switch 720. Here's Kelly with the switch 9. So big spins, but Eileen's got the flips, and it's just so hard to beat that run.
here we go. She had a score of 92. She had a score of 93 in round number 2. So a 91 this go around, so she's going to go with that second run score and finish in second. So you know what that means? We've got a victory lap here for our last run for Eileen Gu, Tom.
Wow, I mean, and she put down 2 winning scores. Her first run score and second run score.
It's an excellent point.
Both would have won the event today. And I mean, this is every single event I call. I feel like Eileen Gu is walking away with the top spot. And it's just, she came from relatively out of nowhere. I mean, young and just so dominant so quickly from coming out last year. She's not holding back. She wants it. Is she going for the 100-point score? Like, how much improvement could she make? Switch. Oh,
Just has to revert around there. It was a good save, though, but that's going to, I mean, like you said, she had the win with the first run score. She didn't need it, bumped it up anyway.
She didn't need it, but I know what she's going for there. She's trying to add the right side 1080 into her run, which could up that score even more, which is incredibly insane to say that she could have added more to that run.
So the victory lap, she's going to walk away with this is the 3rd win in a row in this month alone, just in this neck of the woods. So let's send it down one more time to Tina Dixon.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I think we can all agree, regardless of the result, Eileen Gu is about progressing skiing. So how would you sum up what you did here today?
Honestly, today was all about having fun, pushing myself, pushing the sport. Being just the tiniest part of that is always my biggest goal. So being able to be out here with Kelly, with Cassie especially, is always really inspiring. And, you know, I was really proud of my second run. I wanted to step it up. I know I have more in the tank, and, you know, next time. I'll get the 10 next time.
Dew Tour, what does it mean, though, to win, be back here at Dew Tour and get this win?
It means so much to win Dew Tour here, especially at Copper Mountain. I started competing in this pipe for the first time when I was 9. So being able to come back here and win this huge contest means so much to me.
You still have Slopestyle coming up. What can you say about that?
You know, Slopestyle's coming up, you're right, and I was a running athlete my whole life, so I guess hopefully the endurance carries through.
Well, what a start for you. Congratulations on this win.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Guys.
She's a running athlete. She's running on a tear right now. We talked about that big air win at Steamboat. Then you got the Grand Prix win on this very half pipe last week. Now she gets the Dew Tour pipe win, and she's still got Slopestyle still to come. Oh, man.
I hope she's got enough time to get some lunch in between these events. And what I'm looking forward to, though, is we get to see the battle again. We get to see Kelly and Eileen go at it in Slopestyle again. They're both expected to be in those top spots. So
yeah,
what's it going to be like this afternoon with 2 of the most incredible female free ski athletes of all time?
So there you go. When it's all said and done, we set our top 3 early on. It was in the first round that we had scores into the 90s. Hannah Faulhaber walks away with 3rd place finish, and that was key. We keep telling that story because she's currently on the standings for the U.S. free ski team for China in the 3rd place. So that was a huge 3rd place finish for her, with Kelly Sildaru finishing in 2nd, and it's Eileen Gu with yet another dominant performance to get the win here in the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota.
Yeah, amazing day for Hannah. I mean, a 90-point score right off the bat, that major amplitude, and a podium finish. That is huge on the way to qualifying for Beijing. That sets her up amazing on that path. And then Kelly Sildaru, I mean, just so technically sound. She got the rotations, the spins, and just flawless. All 3 runs, putting scores down in the 90s. But really, I mean, the story of the day, like the story of every day that we watch a women's free ski competition, it's China's Eileen Gu. She is here, and she is unstoppable. She knows nothing but success, nothing but the top, and had more in the tank, had the potential to bring out a 1080, and she says, you know, she loves the progressive sport, but she wishes she could have fit that 1080 in, and I mean, if she fits that 1080 in, I don't think anybody has a chance anymore with Eileen Gu in the field.
So I was going to say, with that 96, as you mentioned earlier, her first run score would have been good enough to still get the win, but then she casually tells Tina, oh, I had a little more in the tank. Like, that's kind of scary moving forward for the rest of the field.
It's so scary. And her doing these runs in between modeling gigs and traveling and doing shoots for every different agency, it's just incredible what she's capable of, and I can't wait to watch her in women's slopestyle this afternoon.
Yeah, the battle's going to continue because, as we mentioned, her and Kelly Sildaru, both triple threats competing in pipe pipe, slopestyle, as well as big air events. So it's exciting for us because we get to watch the battle continue later on this weekend.
Yeah, we're in for a big treat this entire year watching those two compete in all three disciplines. Just incredible.
So we're ready to hand out our first set of ski hardware for the weekend. But what a great way to kick off day 3 of 5 for action out here at Dew Tour Copper Mountain 2021.
Exactly. Weather was perfect. The Superpipe was running amazing. We saw every single woman land a run. They were all high scores. And really, everybody from Brita and up, she was in last there for a while with a 75. That was the highest level of Superpipe we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, the last place score was a 76.50, so consistency was definitely the name of the game out here today. And as you mentioned earlier, the speeds were definitely a lot better than what we saw in qualification.
Yeah, I mean, amazing conditions and a great Superpipe. Copper did an amazing job. That was so fun to watch.
Well, that's a wrap for us up here in the booth. We're about set to kick it down to D.C. for the award ceremony out here for the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota.
Thank you very much, Brad, and congratulations to all the women throwing down this morning here in the Superpipe Finals presented by Toyota. Before I introduce you to our podium, I'd like to introduce to you our award presenter, Kristen Thomas, Dew Tour Partnership Director. Kristen, thanks for being out here with us to hand out the hardware. Appreciate you. And with no further ado, in third place, Colorado Stand Up. She's one of your own. This is her biggest contest finish of her career. Let's hear it for Hannah Faulhaber. One more time, hands together for Hannah Faulhaber. And in second place, representing Estonia, get loud and proud for Kelly Sildaru. One more time, hands together for your second place finisher, Kelly Sildaru. And your champion, her first Dew champion of her very, very colorful career. That has just been so exciting to watch. You guys gotta make some noise. Let's hear it for Eileen Gu! Representing China, coming away with the win out here today. One more time, let's hear it. Eileen Gu and your podium out here for the Women's Ski Superpipe presented by Toyota. Well, congrats again to all the women throwing down out here. We've got an exciting day coming your way with a lot more action, but gonna send it on back to my friends in the booth. Gentlemen.
Well, there you go. How about that for your rookie Dew Tour performance? You post up a 90 in your first run, and you find yourself on the podium. And again, talking about that points race, Brita's in the top spot for the U.S. team. Devin Logan sitting in second, and Hannah Faulhaber with third place right now in points. 453 points. But again, Brita had a commanding lead on the points going into this, but that was huge for Hannah.
Absolutely massive. I mean, the podium place itself, that's one of the ways you qualify. 2 podium spots, and you're basically secured a spot on Team USA. So that's going to move her not only up that points list, but that big podium is incredible. And I mean, just an incredible day already, and we get to see the same Eileen Gu and Kelly Sildaru battle later today in women's slopestyle finals, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I said later on in the weekend. That's actually today. That's coming up here in just a little bit here. But Eileen Gu setting the bar here and making yet another statement. Again, she's got a big air win in Steamboat earlier this month. She got the win on this very pipe at the Grand Prix last week, and she walks away with a commanding performance here with a best run score of 96 flat to take a huge win here at Dew Tour Copper Mountain 2021. Taking a look back at some of the highlights here of how we got to our podium finale here at the Women's Ski Superpipe Final presented by Toyota. So lots more still to happen out here for day 3 of 5 out here at the Dew Tour. When we come back, we're going to have Dew Tour Live. We've got Kim Woozy, Megan Pitchke, and are you a skateboarding fan, Tom?
Of course, of course.
We've got none other than Sean Malto joining the group here for Dew Tour Live. Do a little bit of look into what's to come at the Summer Dew Tour for 2022. So stick around. Dew Tour Live coming up. That's a wrap here from Women's Ski Superpipe Final.
Okay, what would you like to talk about? Talk about boobs.
People think that we're just all about having a good time. That's all that matters. It's not the way it is. You know, athletic, healthy women are not above breast cancer.
What today is all about is sort of a snowboarding Lollapalooza, generating awareness and funds for breast cancer research in honor of our girlfriend Monica Stewart.
1 out of 9 women dying of this disease is an epidemic.
I've noticed that snowboarders are just passionate about their sport, and it's so gratifying to see them include in that passion breast cancer.
Primus manned up, and they played in the rain, and then Les Claypool comes out and is all, "Now to witness electrocution of Primus."
Press.
And moving in a dime-size area at a time, all the way down, just like you mow your lawn. Every woman is at risk for breast cancer. I think it's terrific because a lot of young people come to the event for the snowboarding, for the music, but in the meantime, they get loads and loads of information on breast cancer.
And so much excitement coming together for good music, for the joy of snowboarding, and, you know, for a real cause.
Cancer affects everyone, men and women, old and young.
I support boarding for breast cancer because I'm concerned about the health of my wife, daughter, and my mother.
I support boarding for breast cancer because this year over 215,000 women will be diagnosed
and 40,000 will die.
Being proactive with your health at a young age can make a huge difference in your life.
I support boarding for breast cancer.
We want to continue educating young women about breast cancer because it doesn't discriminate with age.
My name's Blair. I'm with Boarding for Breast Cancer, also known as B4BC. We're a youth-focused educational awareness program teaching young people how to be proactive with their health.
And I support Boarding for Breast Cancer because I want to stop breast cancer.
B4BC, for me, it means a community that really has come together to celebrate each other.
My name is Megan Pitchke, and I am the Boarding for Breast Cancer Marketing and Wellness Director. I had wanted to do these wellness retreats. I had these ideas around wellness, and at the same time wanting to support Boarding for Breast Cancer and young women who would need these experiences. So after the birth of my second child, which was about 8 years into doing these retreats, is when I was diagnosed. And so being able to share with them the things that either helped me during my cancer treatment or things that I've considered always as medicine, like snowboarding, surfing, or being in the mountains, those things are important for me to share, and I feel really grateful to do that.
The day before my 26th birthday, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer.
Hormone positive breast cancer.
Stage 3A breast cancer, HER2 positive.
When I was 36 years old, I was diagnosed with DCIS, a form of breast cancer.
Pushing ourselves physically to find out what our new normal can be after surgeries and drugs, and years of that sometimes. These retreats wouldn't be possible without the partnerships that we formed, as well as the sponsorships that we receive.
I'm really happy to say that the past little over a year that I've been on treatment, I've been able to surf and snowboard. Participating in these retreats with Boarding for Breast Cancer gives me the opportunity to continue to do that with women that are going through the same thing as I am or similar situations.
Hey guys, I'm Elena Height. Being active and striving for good health is super important to me.
Hey guys, I'm Jamie Anderson, and living a healthy and active lifestyle has been a privilege for me through my snowboarding career.
Boarding for Breast Cancer is such a deep connection for me because of my experience with my family and cancer, and also living a healthy and active lifestyle.
I support B for BC because I know everyone has been touched by cancer, and breast cancer definitely has affected a couple of people.
What's up, everyone? My
life.
name is Kim Lucy. Welcome to Detour Live. I am joined here with Megan Pischke and Sean Malto. We just watched an amazing video about Boarding for Breast Cancer, celebrating 25 years. Megan, Director of Marketing, Ambassador, Survivor. Can you tell us a little bit about Boarding for Breast Cancer for those who don't know what it is?
Yep, Boarding for Breast Cancer, B4BC, is a women-founded, female snowboarder-founded nonprofit based out of California, and we educate people about the importance of a healthy, active lifestyle, and we teach them about breast cancer, and we support survivors all over with wellness and nature-based experiences.
Awesome. And Boarding for Breast Cancer has a long history in the snowboard community. 25 years we're celebrating, founded by snowboarders. Can't even list them all. There's just so many amazing women that have been involved. I know that it's something that kind of surprises us. You know, with breast cancer, growing up, I always thought, oh, that's something that like my grandma has to deal with. Can you tell us a little bit about what are some of the common sort of like myths or surprises that you've come across?
Well, first of all, more and more young women are being diagnosed, and when I say young, these are women who haven't had children yet in their 30s or haven't finished college yet in their 20s. 1 in 8 is generally a statistic that we're hearing with women in their lifetime facing breast cancer. So I think it doesn't discriminate on age, and definitely being healthy and active is an important part, but sometimes it just happens when you're younger, and I think that's something that surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, and what are some, for folks at home watching, what are some takeaways? What are some action items that someone could do like right now today?
Well, be in tune with your body. That health of active lifestyle is important, but also advocating for your health. If there's a problem or an issue, you definitely need to go to somebody. And if they don't listen, you find somebody who will listen. We also have a free app that you can download, and it's a part of your cycle, and it'll prompt you every time of the month that it's the best time for you to do your self-breast exam. So knowing your body and being aware of any changes, and just loving yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Yeah, It's never too early to start, and it's never been easier with the app and everything we can find on Boarding for Breast Cancer, their website, their Instagram. Make sure to give them a follow. Sean Malto, legend of skateboarding, welcome. Want to chat with you. What's up with, snowboarding? I heard you shred out there.
Freezing right now. Not used to these conditions. But yeah, I've snowboarded for a lot of my life, and I love it. You can go a lot faster snowboarding than you can skating, so it's just kind of bombing a big hill and carving around. It's really fun.
Yeah. Okay, I always got to ask, what's harder, skateboarding or snowboarding?
Oh, man, I have so much respect for snowboarders. I think they're both equally the same. These guys, I watched the Superpipe yesterday and watched Danny Davis and all those guys, and incredible athletes, incredible to watch, and I would say they're the same.
Gotcha. Humble, modest skater here. I personally think skateboarding is way harder, but lots of respect for all the athletes out here. Something that's really cool as a a Mountain Dew athlete, your team is comprised of snowboarders and skaters. You don't really get a lot of that, right? So it's kind of cool to be able to do both. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, just as with any Mountain Dew sponsored event, especially the Dew Tour, you know, they do a really good job at, you know, making it fun for everybody and whatever discipline or sport or whatever you're into. So they invite me out to Dew Tours in the winter, and I have such a great time supporting Red, Julia, Danny Davis, and those guys come to the skate one, and they support us. And, you know, we have like a nice little good family connection at Mountain Dew, and it's a great sponsorship. And you know, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm having a great time, even though I'm not even skating. I'm just hanging. Yeah,
that's the best. Speaking of skateboarding, we're looking at some highlights from Dew Tour back in the summer out in Des Moines, Iowa. Zion Wright putting down an epic run.
He's
making
incredible.
Team USA fully underdog situation there, but it's so fun to watch Zion, and just the park discipline in general is amazing to watch. What did you think about it?
I mean, he's the man. I never count him out, but also to do what he did on his third run with everything, you know, like he had to do that to get to the Olympics, and he made it work. And man, I love his energy on the course, and obviously he's a good friend of mine and so fun to hang with too.
Did you check out, were you watching Tokyo from home? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I was watching from home. It was cool, it was interesting, you know, best athletes in the world, you know, and it's funny just to see skaters there. I never would have thought.
Cool. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. Sean Malto, Dew athlete, Megan Pischke, Director of Marketing at Boarding for Breast Cancer, doing amazing work. Appreciate you both. We're going to check out men's ski slopestyle coming up next.
All right.
Dew Tour Copper Mountain rolls on from beautiful Copper Mountain at the base of the Rocky Mountains. Mother Nature providing the good stuff, and now we are set to go. The transition has been made over to the Slopestyle course. Free skiing legend Tom Wallace on the call with me. I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us, folks, as we get closer and closer to the grand finale of this amazing event. Tom, the course looks good. The kickers are huge, and that's always a fan favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Big jumps, some fresh snow during qualifier slowed things down, but conditions are ripe for perfection today. It's going to be a focus on the rail features, though. A lot of technicality there. The jumps are big, good technical tricks, but a good variety of rail tricks into a great jump combination is how you're going to walk away with the top spot today.
All right, let's talk about the athletes that we have here, because we've got a world-class field competing. Some guys are focusing on points and podiums for the Olympics for Team USA, and others are here. This is a training opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody wants to win. There's a notoriety, prize money, everything. But the Americans, they want to qualify for Beijing, and this is a trial event. So a podium result today for a Mac Forehand, for a Colby Stevenson, and Alex Hall, and Nick Gepper would be huge.
Nick Gepper, you've got to think, has a little bit of an inside track. He's been there before. He's been to the big show twice, come away with medals, still looking for that elusive gold medal. But Alex Hall is a guy that we've called many a times. He could be dead last on the third and final run. It's Shazam. He's top three.
Yeah, you never know what to expect out of Alex Hall. I mean, he is so good. And Colby Stevenson qualifying first, so he's going to be dropping last with that ability to watch what everyone else does.
So there's the format. 10 riders have made the prestigious cut. There'll be 3 runs. Only the best run counts, and it's all out of 100. Overall impression is really what the judges are looking for. It's one of those things, you know it when you see it, and the judges know a great run when they see it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no criteria broken down per feature, per anything like that. It's really the overall run. How well you do it, the progression, the new tricks, how big you go in the jumps, the amplitude, the variety of tricks, left, right, switch, and forward, technical difficulty, and execution. So really, we want to see the biggest spins, the most technical tricks, done the best with the best style, the best grabs, the best landings, and anything different, creative, and unique. If you see someone out there today do something that no other man in the field is doing, that scores well. That's progression, that's variety, that's free ski.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but what some folks may not know, if you make Team USA for slopestyle, you're also competing in big air.
Exactly. And big air, we had a big event just 2 weekends ago, the Steamboat Grand Prix Big Air, where Alex Hall, get this, he did a 1980. I know that sounds like the year I was born, but it's not. It's a trick. And he's gonna be coming out swinging today. So look at it at the start list. We've got a lot of Americans, 4 Americans in the field, but don't count out some of the other athletes, the Oliver Magnussons, the reigning world champion in the sport, Evan McEachran, guys like that. I mean, Fabian Bosch, he's flipping off of everything. He's crazy. It's gonna be an insane men's slopestyle final.
Man, no question about it. As we said, 10 athletes, all getting 3 runs. Yesterday during qualifying, it wasn't just about the brightly colored jacket. It was all about Colby Stevenson and what he did in the rail yard.
Yeah, basically all about Colby and his unique line choice through that rail yard. So great variety, standing out, spinning, different directions. And here's a nose butter. So that first feature in the jump air section is small. It's not as big as some of the kickers we've seen in recent years. So instead, if you're able to do something unique and different, a nose butter, that stands out. So Etienne Joffrey, I mean, Canada, this kid is coming up. He's not known to be on the big podiums, but with runs like that qualifying run yesterday, and with these jumps kind of setting up for more 1260s and 1440s instead of the 1800s, he's got more than a fighting chance.
So there's the look at the very top of the course, as Mother Nature's brought a little bit of cloud cover in here, but some fresh snow overnight, a little dusting on the course. Athletes have been out practicing throughout the morning, following up on the fantastic event we saw earlier today with you and Jimmy calling the women's ski halfpipe, and Eileen Gu, talk about a force.
I mean, absolutely incredible. The women are in charge in that Superpipe, and Eileen Gu, she has not seen anything but the top of a podium in the last 3 weeks. It's been all gold, all first place, and just amazing to watch her come out. And we look forward to seeing her on this slopestyle course with the rest of the women later this afternoon.
Weather shouldn't be a big factor today at Copper Mountain. This little squall's coming through. It's supposed to clear out, and then continuing warm days over the next 2 or 3 here in the high country. But Tom, we've talked about competitions before, how important it is to lay down a good early run, because you don't know what's going to happen 30, 40 an hour from now.
Exactly. The speed can change. The weather can change. The light can change. Anything can happen. So even in a big 3-run format like this, you really do want to put down a first run just to secure yourself. And the big thing on this course from the qualifying round yesterday is speed. If you can get the speed, if you can maintain, you can't have a bobble. If you bobble on one of these landings, good luck trying to clear the next kicker. So all perfection on the landings. Look for some tucking in between. All these athletes have their skis freshly waxed and ready to go.
22-year-old Kiwi Finn Ballouse will get started off coming from the mad free skiing nation of New Zealand. The Wells brothers really got things going down there. They are the first family of free skiing for New Zealand, but Finn is a talent.
Oh, exactly. And getting things started for us with that unique line up top, doing a flip off that wall ride, sort of wallying up the side there. The second feature came off a bit early on that one, so could be some deductions on the rails. And here he is, tucking into the jump, starting off with a double cork to the right and just a 900 to the left. So I think he knows that with that bobble on the second rail feature in the rail yard, it's not going to be enough. With 3-run format, the level of talent in this men's field is so high that if you don't have a perfect line through the rails and a perfectly set of jumps with grabs and variations, you're not going to do well.
It really has to flow. I mean, everything has to flow from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's got to flow perfect. And here's that line up top that's unique and special. Cuts across, hits that wall ride with a nice flat spin out. So a fun flip added to the run, and really, I mean, great run. It's going to have to count as a warm-up. He's going to get a score, but with a 900 on that second jump, that's not what he's looking for. He's looking for a double cork variation. Look for basically double corks the entire way. If one of these athletes might even do a triple cork or something even crazier on that bottom kicker where if there's enough speed, we're going to see something wild.
I was going to say, is there enough speed? Is this course big enough? And is there enough run-in for someone to throw out a 1980?
The 1980 might be off of the table for today. I can almost guarantee you, though, we're going to see some 14s, some 16s, and who knows what else. I mean, once you land a run, why not go for the bigger trick?
Right. So Finn Ballou's score comes in as a 51.50. To Tom's point, he'll look to runs 2 and 3. Mac Forehand now representing Vermont. Just 20 years of age, and Forehand has been coming on strong over the last couple of years. Really burst on the scene about 2 years ago. People are like, who's this 17, 18-year-old kid that is just lighting it up? Well, it's none other than Mac Forehand.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it. East Coast roots, grew up skiing Stratton, and just able to really put together a run on any aspect. I mean, great big air athlete as well as slopestyle. So let's see what he can do in this rail features. I mean, as an East Coast native, they're great at rails, and
you just announcer jinxed him. Announcer jinxed. You know, the funny thing is Mac is the guy that if you say, oh man, it's really icy out there, I don't know when I'm going to go out. He's like, icy? This isn't icy. This is spring slush.
Exactly. And I mean, so again, a little bobble on that top rail, but really what it is just you got to be crazy. So try the craziest rail trick. You get 3 runs. Eventually you're going to land it, and I think that's Mac's thought.
Yeah, I liked his opening line there, going up high on the box, came off and just could not put the landing down and right away. So he will look to runs 2 and 3. Well, here's a look at the U.S. free ski team's current Olympic qualification standing, showing athletes who are closest to achieving criteria to be nominated. That's a key word, nominated to Team USA for the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. There are multiple pathways to qualify for the Olympic teams this year, including FIS points, podium results, and tryout events. So it's kind of convoluted. We will explain it along as we go. But Tom, you either need podium results or you need points, bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. And Mac Forehand and Colby Stevenson, a result from last year, helps them out. Anybody else that gets on the podium here is going to be a huge help.
International field continues with Mark Hendrickson now out of Calgary, Alberta. Man, I tell you what, Calgary as of late has been producing some fantastic skiers both in the pipe and on the slope.
Yeah, exactly. The COP there, the Calgary Olympic Park, has an amazing slope style and half-pipe setup where all these athletes are learning. So Mark there, that's the right side 1260, but no grab. He was looking for the double Japan grab, and now we see him just sort of, I mean, as I don't want to say that was mellow, but the double cork 1260 and the switch 5 is just a mellow run. He knew he missed the grab, and the judges are strict. They have to be strict. The hardest part about judging this sport nowadays is with everybody being so good, being able to land a full run, you have to differentiate every single run. Everyone's going to land a good run by the end of the day. So if you're not critical of every miscue, it's impossible to judge. And Mark, great rail tricks up top. He's got an amazing line through here with that backside 360 switch up, the right side 450, so spinning to the left and the right, which judges love to see, but here's the miscue. Just doesn't get the grab. But I got to say, the skis look amazing. Those are the Tom Wallish Pro Model skis.
I was waiting for the plug to come in.
So I mean, he's got the best looking skis out there, and I don't think he gets a kick out of me always saying that, but I sure do.
You know what? All the nice kids out there on the Christmas list, they're getting those. The naughty kids, not so much. But the nice kids are getting the Tom Wallace limited edition. Mark Hendrickson, 56.50, which is the best score we've seen so far. But again, only 3 have gone of their first of 3 runs. So a lot of talent still to come, including this man from the beautiful Park City, Utah, Tom's hometown where those skis reside. Alex Hall set to drop in 23. Alex Hall is an interesting story. If you don't know, Germany, Alaska, Park City. He is just the man of the world and speaks fluent German, so he's often used as a translator for Team USA.
Exactly. He's all over the place. Just an incredible story. And once he came to Park City, I remember first seeing this kid, and I was like, who is this tall young
Drink
kid
of water, yeah.
who is just so talented? He was learning tricks day by day, and now here he is in the Dew Tour slope finals.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, never count out Alex Hall. If he is in last place and still has a run to go, there's a good chance he's going to win it.
And he is not holding anything back. That was a 16:20 on the third and final jump there. So huge run. We were talking over most of it, but he linked up some major moves. This first trick, he's sliding up the wall right. So switch 270, pretzel 450 out, but the way he comes onto the wall is unique. There's the big backside 360 switch up.
That transfer is no joke either.
Yeah, jumping over to that rail, just like unique, fun variety. Any fun line choice like this. And here's the bottom. Let's see if he gets to Japan. Oh, the seatbelt Japan 1620. I did not know we were going to be seeing 1620s in the first run, but Alex linking a switch right side trick, a switch left 12, and a forward 16.
Yeah, 91.75 is how the judges like that one. So he vaults to the very top of the board and sets a very difficult score to beat. Anytime you're tickling the low 90s or mid 90s, that is probably a podium run. We'll see if that holds up with a lot of talent still to take their first runs. Evan McEachran now out of Canada, Oakville, all the way over in Ontario.
Yeah, this is a guy known for his rail prowess. Coming from the East Coast in Canada, there's a massive spin. Switch on, 360 switch up, front side 450 out. So tons of technicality, and the judges obviously love that. They love to see you spinning, especially when you're smooth and controlled. They don't want to see your arms flailing. They want to see it smooth and comfortable. Evan, off that top, smaller side hit with the 1260. There's the switch right side 1440. Spinning opposite switch left 1440.
Wow.
Okay. Alex Hall came out. He set the bar with the 1620, and now everybody's like, okay, we're doing this.
I was going to do a 12, might as well bump it to a 14.
Wow, okay. Back to the top. There's that first rail trick. Switch on, 360 switch up. So it does a full 360-degree rotation from rail to box. And then here he is doing the backside version, the 360 switch up, spinning blindly around and then into the jumps. Evan's known for his 1440s, these second 2 jumps. He's got it switch right side, his unnatural direction into the switch left side.
Yeah, that is just so... It's just so awkward to watch. It's like, how is he doing this?
It's incredible. Being able to spin both ways like that, it is like frying an omelet with your foot, honestly. It's unnatural. It's uncommon. It's like throwing a baseball with your right hand, but I've said that too much. We don't want to say it again. And there's the 1440, and I mean, that's another run, and this bar has just been set.
Evan McEachran, the 2018 Dew Tour champion, drops an 86.50, which has him in second place. Just being able to land that 14 switch on that hill is impressive. Etienne Geoffrey Gagnon out of Canada, just 24, Yukon Territories, set to go, rocking the salmon-colored sweatshirt.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to see this guy come up through the scene every summer at Momentum ski camps. He's there, he's training. I've seen him learn trick after trick and finally make it onto this massive stage. And incredible to see just the level and commitment. A little bit of a bobble that you notice there on feature number 2. So will we see him chuck the full jump run knowing that rail trick is going to get some deductions up top? There's the switch, double Misty. So diving forward, getting big amplitude on that. And there's a 1440. So the jumps, wow, incredible. The rails up top, though, definitely some deductions. And we continue to talk about it. I can't say it enough. We need to see top to bottom perfection. Every grab, every rail needs to be perfect if you want any chance of that podium, because there's just that much talent out here.
Super clean on the first rail.
Yeah, exactly. And here's where that bobble is. He's transferring between those rails and just doesn't grind the whole rail. Seeing it from our drone angle or cable cam angle from above makes me think it wasn't as bad as I initially thought. He got a good
Came off a little early.
Definitely came off early. It'll be a deduction, but it's nowhere near as bad as I would have previously thought. And here's that 1440 down at the bottom. I mean, gets the tail grab, just capping it.
Man, when you cap it and hold it that long, the judges appreciate it. As you've always told me, it shows control. You see the deductions, 64.50 for Etienne, so he will go up with 2 more runs. Down to the final 4 competitors. These are the top qualifiers here for the men's ski slopestyle final. They'll start things off with Nick Gepper, the elder statesman in the field at 27. When did 27 become elder statesman?
I don't know, but it makes me feel very old. And something to talk about, Nick. Obviously, he's got a bronze medal, a silver medal, but as of now, he needs a result to even make the U.S. team for Beijing. So a podium place here would go an incredibly far way to getting him onto that team again for his 3rd Olympics.
This event, and then coming up, there's the Mammoth event in early January. But do you really? Wow, Nick Gepper has problems.
Problems on the rail features, and that's because there's 3 runs. If your rails aren't incredibly technical, incredible, unique, you're not going to make it on the podium. And Nick needs it. He knows he needs a podium result. He wants to make that a team for the elusive 3rd time, get back for that gold medal. So this jump line's kind of a warm-up, but just getting the grab on that 12. That bobble on the rail is definitely going to bring him down. And coming back to the scores we saw earlier, Etienne, he got that 64 because of that minor bobble I spoke of. So any bobble we see is going to be big deductions. It's not just a couple of points. It's going to be 10 or 20 points. And that's how they differentiate these runs. So here's that second rail features where we saw him switch on. Goes for the switch up, comes up a bit early and can't quite get it all the way around within a 450 out that he's trying there.
Looked like he had the speed, though. He came in that first hit, coming in switch, and just muscles the second one around.
Yeah, and just gets the grab perfect on that 12 at the end. So the 12, great. Jumps were solid, and the speed looks to be running much better today. If anybody out there tuned into qualifiers yesterday for the men's field, it was slow. It was very challenging to get over these jumps, and it looks like they're having a much better time today. The snow let up, the course is running fast and smooth, and it looks like everybody's able to really throw down that full quality run that we love to see.
Swiss skier Fabian Bosch now on course. This guy, his video parts, his Insta stuff is just next level.
Yeah, exactly. And he is good at everything. A big Frisbee golfer. So if you're ever looking for a round, and you're looking to chuck some discs, this is your guy. And there's a really awesome switch K-fed with a backslide maneuver in the middle. So only balancing 1 foot on that rail. That's what we call the backslide, the back foot of just the 2 skis. Right side, double cork to start things off, spinning to the left with the 1260 and the tail grab. And here's the switch double bio 1260 and a full run from Fabian Bosch. So really trying to take advantage of some of the slow conditions. And I saw him doing that switch double bio on the last jump in qualifying. And the reason for that, I believe, is that it pops him forward. It gives him the momentum to clear that jump. And it really helped yesterday in making to the finals. And there at the top, I love that opposite mute grab out of that 450 of that box. And there's the backslide. A lot of variety in this run. He's got a flip out of the wall right. He's got a one-footed maneuver, a pretzel, one of my all-time favorite tricks, and double corks in both directions. Oddly enough, he's doing 2 double corks to the right, where normally we see him do a lot of maneuvers to the left. The right could even be his more unnatural, but just the way the run works out, that works best. He's able to dive that switch right side, double misty, double bio, whatever you want to call it, forward, clear that jump, and put together.
Fabian will check in with an 80.50, which has him in the top 3 with 2 runs still to go. We talk about talent. Well, the final 2 competitors to go have all the talent in the world. As we give you a look at the current standings with American Alex Hall leading the way, the only man to dip into the 90s with a 91.75 by way of that 14 on the final hit. It'll be Oliver Magnusson from Sweden, and then the final competitor will be American Colby Stevenson.
Yeah, Oliver, super solid, and he is known in the big air circuit for the 1800. He has 1800 in forward and switch variety. So, are these jumps big enough today? Was the speed enough for us to potentially see an 1800? If there was anybody to do it, it'd be this guy.
See almost every skier, Tom, going into that modified tuck, getting to the back seat to try to build some speed.
Exactly, trying to go as fast as they can into this course, and that's a full run. That's the switch double cork 1260 there at the bottom. Has a ton of technicality up top. He's got a big pretzel maneuver on the first rail and 3 different double corks. So another guy putting together a full run. Here's the switch right side 270. So it used to be we wanted to see left and right side spins on just the jumps. Now at this point, the judges are watching on the rails. If you're spinning only to the right on all the rail features, that isn't good. That's gonna hurt you. If you can spin both directions as well as going onto one switch or one forward, that's a big benefit as well. There's the right side 12, and here's the final trick. Going switch left, gets it all the way to 12, but we've seen him. He's got more that way. He can go 14, 16, 18.
Magnusson bumps Fabian Bosch out of that 3rd position. His score comes in as 83.25, and it takes us down to the final competitor, the number 1 qualifier from Park City, Utah, Colby Stevenson. And he looks fired up, doesn't he?
He always looks fired up. I've had a chance to ski with Colby a lot, and there's really no aspect of skiing he can't do. From the backcountry to the park, everything in between, such a talent, and just watch the way he skis. It's so smooth, it's so flawless. 450 out of that rail. That rail has a down to flat connection at the bottom and a double cork nose butter. This is already a big step up from what he threw down in the qualifying run that already had him qualifying first place.
So the Americans with an opportunity to go 1 and 2 as Colby brings it into the end. Looks like he came up a little bit short. I don't know how I was going to say, is he going to knuckle on this thing? But Colby with a smile on his face. Yeah, how did that get that done? You'll have to explain that to us. Is he rocking like lizard skin? What is that print he's got going there?
That does look like some snake or lizard skin. He's the chameleon out there and blending in. This landing on that box, switch 50-50. So pretty blind, skis together. Here, switch on, the 360 switch up. And then here where he gaps onto this rail, I don't know how he muscles that 450.
Got it around.
I mean, on a down to flat kink like that is just insane. And there's that nose butter, goes for the double cork. We saw him doing a nose butter cork 1080 in qualifying round. So he decides it's time to up the antes, it's finals. And here's the bottom jump. Does he squeak this 1440 all the way around? Let's take a look. Comes around, cameras on the knuckle. You can see just barely.
The tips just catching that first blue line, which could have been a disaster. He's able to get it around. Oh, look at this. Yeah, coaches appreciate it.
Yeah, that's U.S. ski team slopestyle coach Dave Euler at the top, giving him the thumbs up. I mean, amazing that he's able to put his feet underneath him down there on that 14.
Colby Stevenson fan club out in force as he waits for his score to drop. He needs better than a 91.75 to overtake fellow American Alex Hall and move into the lead. But remember, we've still got 2 more runs. And Tom, you know as well as I do, they all have not shown their proverbial cards.
Yeah, exactly. You got to save something and also, build on something. So putting a rundown, even if it's not picture perfect, is something to build on. And you can have going into that next run with that motivation is what you want to do. And you can hear it on that angle. Just the tails of his skis catching that bottom of that knuckle of that jump.
82.50. So Colby Stevenson, the number 1 qualifier, now sits in 4th place. So the top 4, Alex Hall, Evan McEachran, Oliver Magnusson, and Colby Stevenson holding down those top spots with Fabian Bosch on the outside looking in the 5th position. But those scores are all going to bump up over the next 2 runs. This is just run number 1, Menski's Slopestyle final. I'm telling you what, I'm looking forward to seeing Nick Geppert clean up, obviously, his run. That was the rail feature that went awry. Mac Forehand had some issues. He's going to clean that up. So the Americans looking to make some noise here, but right now holding down the top spot with Alex Hall. Send him back up to the top. Finn Belouse, the Kiwi, will get things started. Is it just me, or is the mustache a proverbial? Is a must-have this year for competition?
It's a must-have.
Okay.
And Finn is pulling it, making it look good, and you can tell he's, he's
stash.
There's this cool line that we see where he does the flip off of that box. Maybe a little low on the speed there, but smooth, unique line choices.
Is it a setup trick for that center rail, or is this just the line he's going to do no matter what? Doesn't matter where it is. Oh!
I think it's just the line he likes. Yeah. And what's cool about it is that you do get to hit one extra feature. So where he's almost fitting 2 tricks on that top rail section, where a lot of the athletes are doing 1 trick. So it adds something to his run. It might not be the hardest line, but it's different. Anytime you're doing something different is creative and progressive, and you want to stand out. You don't want to look like everybody else out there competing. You want to do a line that's unique to yours, and that helps the judges recognize it.
All right, let's go back to the rail section.
Yeah, that's where we saw the mess up in run number 1. So came off that rail early, comes off that rail early again, and then I think that just throws him off. So into his next 450, he's not locked in, he's not centered over that rail, and just not able to put that one together.
So Finn sitting on the 51.50. He will wait for his 3rd and final run for the big improvement. Mac Forehand looking for the biggest improvement, had an early fall, only logged a 4.
Yeah, fell on that top rail feature, so the higher up you fall, unfortunately, then you get really docked on the score. And there, big spinning maneuver through there, switch 2 steps, switching it up, then spinning to the right on the next rail feature. So continuing to do what I'm talking about and spinning different directions on those rails up top.
So Mac Forehand clean through the rails now onto the big 3 Amigo kickers. Second one good, final one, here it comes. This is the big one.
Double cork, 1260 with the tail grab for Mac Forehand. So there he goes, spinning through the rail section, technically spinning switch and switch right, and then big double corks down below, where we saw Alex Hall on the final jump bring a huge spin. Mac doing the 1260, but gets the grab. So anytime you're grabbing further out on the ski or grabbing with both hands like that with the double Japan, those are more difficult. Here, reaching back on that final jump, you see him tweaking. Gets the tail grab, holds it the entire time. No flailing, no looking for it. That is a great grab.
Mac's going to get a nice improvement because he was sitting on a 4. Not a 44 or 94, just a 4. As Tom said, when you fall high up on the hill, not opportunities to score. The judges pretty much put their head down and turn away. And an 84.75. So Mac Forehand goes from last to 3rd.
Big improvement. And also, just anytime you can get up near the top of that podium for the Americans, they want to win today, but they also want to qualify for the team for Beijing. So you need podiums and you need points. So the higher up on that ranking you can get, the better.
Mark Hendrickson of Canada now dropping in. He had an interesting run. I don't know if the judges just didn't know what to do with it because he had a different line, a unique line. It'll be interesting to see if he changes things up or if he stays with it and just cleans it up.
Yeah, I'm looking for him to just try to clean it up, put together a little bit more.
Oh, and again.
Snow snake.
Yep.
And that's just one of the issues. You just never know. I mean, you come off these slick metal rails, and if you're a little off, you land on edge like that, the skis, you just need to maintain. With the speed being so tough to clear these jumps, you really need to be perfect on all your landings to get over the knuckles.
Tom, give the kids at home a little hope. Has the snow snake gotten you a time or two?
Yeah, you know, I've been hit by a snow snake a couple times. You need to keep the anti-venom near you and on lock to try to avoid.
There it is. The tails crossed.
It was the tails, but also the tips on that rail. So, I mean, you got to be perfect. You got to be perfectly centered and balanced on those to just come off clean. And unfortunately for Mark, not this run.
Current leader Alex Hall out of Park City, Utah, dropped a 91.75. This is the difference. When you go out and throw a big score down and land it on run number 1, now he can mess around. Now he can take some chances.
Yeah, I expect Alex to roll the dice here, up the ante. Oh, super clean, stalling out that one to switch. There's that big transfer and gets the pretzel out of that rail.
So smooth. Adding
some technical difficulty into the jumps. Switch right side, double cork 1080. Here's the switch 12. Will we see another 1620 down here at the bottom? Wraps it up, 1620. Double cork with the seatbelt Japan grab. Alex Hall is not holding anything back out here today.
Absolutely worth the price of admission. Oh wait, it's free, but this was an amazing run.
Yeah, up top, the switch 270, pretzel 450, and then transferring backside 360. Switch up, stalls it out nice and clean. And where we saw him spun the switch 270 to the right up top, that is a switch 270 to the left. So then, gets that one pretzeled out. The big thing for me on this run is he had the seatbelt Japan grab on the bottom 1620 perfectly in run number 1. Oh, a little bit of a bobble.
Yeah, did he miss the grab? I saw him reach back. And
I was waiting to see the replay because to me, when I saw it at first, it wasn't quite as grabbed as run number 1.
89.25. Ball don't lie, neither does slow motion. So Alex will stay with that first one score of 91.75 and remains the current leader.
Something to be said, though, his 89 there still would have him in first place. The 2 best scores of the day thus far.
Evan McEachran now from Canada, dropping in switch.
Wow. There's that big spin up top again. 360 switch up maneuver and the big spin out. And then doing another 360 switch up. So full body rotation from rail to rail. Incredibly difficult to describe.
You know what's hard to believe is there's really no rail park that's going to be the same. And so for these guys to come to the Dew Tour, first time they see it, get a couple days to practice on it, and then come out and perform on it.
Oh, unfortunately, bobble in there. But yeah, can't say it enough. What I love about slopestyle as a discipline so much is the jumps are never the same.
Right.
The rails
Never the same.
are never even near the same. So you can't go build a slopestyle course and train like you can with Superpipe or Big Air. You legitimately have to come out here and figure out a run. You have to ad-lib it.
But you see the little Groms in Park City and Nefland, whatever, and they're like, oh, dude, I could perform at the Dew Tour. I'm like, could you? Because you got this place locked in, but could you go somewhere else brand new and do the same thing?
Exactly. Every new course has got to be a new rail run, a new jump run. And there, Evan he knows it. If you don't land absolutely perfect on the bases of your skis, barely on edge, you're not going to maintain that speed into those jumps. It needs to be perfection today to keep the amplitude up.
Etienne Geoffrey Gagnon out of Canada, just 24. Still impressed with the rock and the salmon style up top.
Yeah,
that's a good look.
I was going to call it coral, but I like salmon.
Coral's good. I just figured he comes from Canada and the salmon, the spawn. You know, I went with salmon.
Okay.
Method of madness.
Perfect switch 270s, really clean through the rail line, and there's that double flat spin, the kangaroo flip, some would call it, popularized by Yoon Olsen back in the day. Switch, double misty, 1260. Oh, and wrapping up the 1440 again. That's another run where, like Alex Hall's last trick, I'm going to need to see the slow-mo replay on that last one, though, to see the length and the quality of the grab, because all these tricks, if you miss the grab, it starts to just become aerials. And the judges want to see you grab in the skis. When you're going to do these big 1440-degree rotations, you can't be just spotting the landing and wrapping it up like a mummy. They want to see you stylish and smooth, grabbing the ski and making it look clean.
Which I think is a good thing, too, because if you don't do that, then it's just a big huck fest, right?
Exactly, and we don't want to see maximum rotations just to see them. Here's that bottom hit we're talking about. Let's see if he reaches back, gets the tail grab for the first cork of that double cork. But then lets go and has to sort of wrap out of it. So what was so good about run number 1 on that bottom hit is that he held the tail grab the whole time. So definitely going to be a little deduction there, but still a full run, technical rails, and solid jumps.
All the way from Yukon and Whitehorse, the biggest city in northern Canada, 7th place right now for Etienne Geoffrey Gagnon, 76.50. Beautiful day. Day number 3, Dew Tour 2021. American Alex Hall leads the way right now. His best score is a 91.75 that he dropped on his very first run. Evan McEachran sitting in second. Mac Forehand in third. And then it's Magnusson and Colby Stevenson, the #1 qualifier. Nick Gepper has yet to take his second run. He's still to come. And Finn Biallou's had his issues out here today at Copper Mountain as the snow guns are going. Little overcast skies. Snow coming in last night. But we are set for some amazing skiing, set to go down in the midst of run number 2 in ski slopestyle final here at Dew Tour 2021. Are you warm?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, going to the fruit snack. He's going to the fruit snack. Dew Tour Copper Mountain day number 3 as we are in the midst of the men's ski slopestyle final. Todd Harris alongside free skiing legend Tom Wallace on a beautiful course and a beautiful day as Alex Hall leads right now in the midst of run number 2 of 3 with a 91.75. So now you're up to speed. Nick Gepper now needs to get up and go. Already with a gold, with a bronze and a silver medal, looking for the gold. And to do that, he needs to make Team USA, and this would be a big opportunity today for him to get on the podium and get those points.
Yeah, definitely needs to get on the podium. A result on the podium would go a long way. Here's the technical rail maneuver up top. The backside 360 switch up, 450 out. All these technical rail tricks honed at Perfect North, Indiana, where he learned to ski. Shout out to all those guys and girls back there. And there's the pretzel. So we saw the bobble in run number 1 there, and he's not messing around in run number 2.
Yeah, his rails are usually on lock, and here he comes. The final 2 features, Gepper winding it up and puts it down smooth.
Yeah, big double misty with the switch. There's the forward double cork 1260. So he had some solid jumps, but it was that bobble on the rail that really brought his score down, and that could be a good run. Let's take a look back at these rails and see if he really nailed the landing. Comes off a bit loose there. I thought he was going toward one of those banners, but able to just keep it together, smooth into this next one, gets the 450 out. So technical. That's where the bobble was in the first run. Switch to 70, pretzel 450. So much spinning, so much technicality up top. And this, the double flat spin gets, look at that hand all the way out. So I spoke about it earlier, but anytime you get further out on the ski, and he does with that double Japan grab, reaching all the way up, same with that tail grab, you see the ski flex, that adds the difficulty of being able to hold on to the ski all the way out in the tipper tail is that much harder.
Gepper knows how the game is played. He's made 2 U.S. teams, first in Sochi, then in Pyeongchang, looking to get his spot for the team heading off to Beijing, with the Olympics starting on February 3rd on the networks of NBC. So Nick Gepper, big improvement, 89.50. That is a big bump up into second place. So the Americans now holding down the top 2 positions, with Evan McEachran breaking up the trio with Mac Forehand sitting in 4th. Final 3 to drop here on run number 2 to be Fabian Bosch, Oliver Magnusson, and then Colby Stevenson, the number 1 qualifier. Fabian had a pretty good run, Tom. Where did he lose the point sitting on that 80?
Yeah, it was just a little bit of the execution of the whole run. I mean, he put together a top to bottom, but we keep saying it's got to be perfect. It's got to be smooth. The rails get to the end of everything, and you got to lock in the grabs. He just needs to clean up the run. He doesn't necessarily need to up the difficulty of it. It's more on the execution. Here's that 270 pretzel. So pretzel, what I mean by that is spinning on one way and spinning out the opposite direction. Coming up a bit short on that one. Let's see if he can keep the speed up. Starts things off going 16.20.
Wow,
he is not holding back on this run. Switch, double 12. So, where the biggest trick in his run, the previous run, was to the right side on that bottom hit with the switch double Misty. Here he brings a big spin into the equation. Here's that backslide. So using just the back foot on that rail feature, so much harder to grind and balance when you're just on one of 2 skis. And this is the pretzel, spinning on to the right, gripped with the edge of the ski and out to the left. Spinning on one way, out the other way is a pretzel.
How did he manufacture the speed? Because it looked like right there he came up a little short on jump 1, but jump number 2, he had it all.
Right, exactly. And he must have just had good tuck in between there. You get the right wind direction out here. It all comes down to the weather and the luck sometimes. If the wind blows your way, and there's that diving forward, switch double Misty, double bio, whatever you want to call it. Big pop off the lip to make it all the way to that landing.
And the compulsory mustache intact for Fabian Bosch, so this should be a nice improvement for him. Remember, his first run score was an 80.50, and he's going to jump up 5 points. 85.50. Fabian now 1 spot off the podium. Alex Hall, Nick Gepper leading the way for Team USA. Evan McEachran holding down 3rd. Fabian Bosch just moving now into 4th, bumping Mac Forehand into the top 5. Oliver Magnusson out of Sweden now, just 21 on course.
Yeah, coming off a big victory this past season in Aspen, the world champ. So he's got the air tricks. Let's see if he can lock it all the way through that rails, and he does. Really technical with the switch 450 there to finish. And now into the jumps where we know he's got the technical difficulty. 1260 to the right, gets the grab, so left and a right side double cork to start, and the bottom switch 1440. Oliver bringing out a big spin, spinning an extra 180 from what we saw in that first run, trying to just continue to push the ante on that bottom jump. He sees Alex Hall on the top of the podium with a 1620. They've seen Evan McEachran doing the back-to-back 14s. All these skiers know they need to spin a little bit more. They got to add some technical difficulty if they want to get on top. There's the switch 450. I love seeing those rail features from above. You can see the distance the gap is onto some of these rails. It's 8, 10, 15 feet of gap you have the chance to spin on. There's the double cork. So spots the landing. If anything, he's only doing a safety grab on that ride. So a little bit easier than some of the more technical grabs.
So he's going to stay with the first run score, which is an 83. And he will look to that 3rd and final run for Oliver Magnusson. Colby Stevenson now set to go, feeling good, music's tuned in, giving some love to the folks, and now looks down course, trying to get onto the podium. To get onto the podium, he's going to bump Evan McEachran off, so he needs better than an 86.50 to move into that 3rd position.
Yeah, and he qualified first, so we know Colby Stevenson has the run and the skills for it. It's just a matter of being able to put it all together today.
Oh, goes to that rail section so fast.
So fast, including that 270 disaster, gapping all the way to the 2nd kink of that rail. There's the right side, 1260. Look for a big 1440 here at the bottom. Colby Stevenson, switch 1440 with the stale grab. He is not holding it back.
Landing that trick switch is next level.
Yeah, so that's where we saw that bottom hit is where he had that weird landing, and now he's coming back with a different grab. And as we look up top, I love how he lands on the top wall ride of that box on top of that wall ride. Switch completely blind with his feet together. Switch 50-50 we would call that. And here's that rail trick we love. He just catches that rail so clean, spins the front side 450 out, and then into the jumps where that nose butter is just awesome. A trick popularized by Henrik Harlow, the nose butter double cork from years and years ago. Amazing to see Colby bringing it into the repertoire here today with the Japan grab, kicking it out underfoot, and really it's this bottom hit.
Yeah.
Gets the ski, and we call that the stale grab, stolen from skateboarding and snowboarding, and gets way more speed, way more amplitude on that one. That's got to be an improvement.
Yeah, it is, to the tune of 94.25. So the number one qualifier, Colby Stevenson, goes into first place with 1 run to go. No better time to check in with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. And not only did Colby clean it up, but you just moved into the lead with that run. Where does it sit with you?
I was really stoked. Also, having some trouble with speed again, and barely got the last jump, and just stoked to get all my rails and have enough speed. It's tough out here. Just need for speed, Ricky Bobby,
Exactly. On this course, where else do you see an opportunity to add to your run?
Well, I originally wanted to do a 16 on the bottom, but like I said, with the speed issue, I just couldn't do that, and I think everyone's experiencing the same thing, trying to do 14s and 16s out here. It's pretty tough, so I think, clean always wins, so that's what everyone's doing.
Team USA sitting really well right now. How competitive is it amongst you guys?
We're all such good friends, but obviously it gets a little competitive. I don't know, we want to see each other do well. It doesn't really matter if they're going to beat you or not. It's we're all out here riding, having fun, and may the best man win kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like your skiing just keeps pushing each one of you as well.
That's right. It's everyone skis better at different events, and it's just we have fun pushing each other's motivation and skill level, and it's great.
Keeps the sport progressing. Thanks so much, Colby.
Thank you, Tina. To quote the great lyricist Miley Cyrus, it's a party in the USA, because right now the Americans are holding down the top 3 spots. Colby Stevenson, Alex Hall, and Nick Gepper going 1, 2, and 3 with 1 run still to go. If we could get Colby Stevenson coming down the next run, just get another Ricky Bobby go, I'm going fast. Just yell it out.
Exactly. And to quote Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. And he moved into first on that one, and I don't know if he's going to look back. A 94.25 is a great score, and like he said, I still think he could add more to that run, especially with 1 in the tank now.
So Ricky Bobby's been quoted, Miley Cyrus has been quoted. We now have the 3rd and final run, the men's ski slopestyle final here at Copper Mountain Dew Tour 2021. Thimbalus of New Zealand will get started off. Remember, it only takes 1 run. Best run counts of 3.
Exactly. That's the beauty of this format, is that you get 3 different chances. And while Finn's had some trouble, he's not on this 3rd and final run so far. The rails, technical through this top section, perfect on that bottom 3rd rail feature. So that's why you get 3. A lot of opportunities to put down your best run. Go for it all on all 3 runs. And there, spinning the left side, double cork 1260 into the bottom hit for a full run for Finn. Switch, double cork 1440. The Kiwi comes to play in the 3rd and final one.
Might have got a pep talk from the Wells brothers, although it's probably middle of the night over there. But wow, that was a tremendous improvement on his first 2 offerings.
Exactly. So much trouble on those top rail features because he's trying technical tricks. He's trying to do some switch-ups on that battleship rail here. So switch 270 on into a backside switch-up. So just hard to go slower and do something more technical rather than go fast and get the rail over with quicker, which makes the balance easier. Here he is in the jump sections. Let's take a look at these grabs in the replay. Can you see that he holds the grab the whole time? Here's the bottom hit. Just not getting the grab there on that final switch 1440. So a smooth trick, a smooth landing, but if he's not getting that grab perfectly, it's going to be really hard to crack into the top 3 with those 3 Americans sitting up top, Colby, Alex, and Nick.
Needs better than an 89.50 to get onto the podium. Needs better than a 91.75 to get into second, and better than a 94.25 to move into first. And Finn's going to improve to the tune of a 71.50, which bumps him up 1 position.
Yeah, so clearly some deductions there. Judges being pretty particular about the grab, I would think, on that last jump. They really want to see you grabbing your ski for the length of the rotation, not just a bit of it, the whole entirety of that 1440.
This is the 3rd and final run in the men's ski slopestyle final. Mac Forehand now currently sitting in 6th place. Forehand's best score, of course, being that 84.75. He's on the 2nd position right now in the U.S. ski team qualification points, so he's in a good place, but man, being on the podium here at Gu and then having Mammoth still to go would be even better.
Exactly. He's the only American in this final not on the podium right now, so definitely looking to jump up there and take over one of those top 3 spots. And with a clean rail section, massive technicality up top, he's well on his way. Let's see if he ups the jump difficulty down here at the bottom. Switch 1260 into the final kicker. Going big, 1620, so challenging Alex Hall, who brought out the 1620 in his previous runs. Mac Forehand, not wanting to be left behind, goes for a 1620 of his own.
Did I get it around? Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. And let's take a look back up top. Here's the switch 270, switch up, and 270 out. So tons of spins, tons of change-up maneuvers, and then spinning the right side direction on that rail feature. Switch right 450. So both of those tricks are really mirrored, showing both of those varieties for the judges. He's got 2 1260s on the jumps, a right side and a switch left, and then he finishes things off with that huge 1620. The only thing I'm worried about is what's the deal with the grab on that final hit. Here's the switch 12, perfect grab, comes around, just has so much momentum on that one. And then here's where we really got to break it down, because Alex got some big deductions when he didn't get the grab. Mac gets the grab.
Didn't cap it.
He didn't cap it, you're right. That was what we would call a toxic grab. So see what the judges think about that, but still, a 1620, that's massive on that final kicker.
Offering up some prayers there, so it's going to be identical. Wow, you don't see that very often. Now, excuse me, an 87, it bumps up off the 84.
That puts all 4 Americans in the top 4 spots. I mean, talk about dominance today from the USA.
87.75, Mac Forehand, not enough to get him onto the top 3, but does put him in the conversation and in 4th, and those will be valuable points if he can stay there. Switching gears from the USA to our neighbors to the north, Mark Hendrickson of Canada. He's had some good runs so far. Hendrickson looking for something big here. He's on a 56.5 at his best. He's had some bobbles, especially early on, and as you pointed out, Tom, when you bobble at the top of the rail section, the run's pretty much done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and even there, the little shuffle, going for the pretzel maneuver. Maybe, I mean, it looks like he purposely wanted the frontside 270 out to me, but he kind of just shuffled it on the ground. There's the right side 1260, switch, left side 900. So a little bit lower on the difficulty scale with just the 900 there, and then looking for the double grab there on front of the ski on the final jump of the run. Let's take a look back up top. I want to see this rail where he does a little spin on the ground, a little bit of a shuffle with butter. There's the 360 change up, switch up top. So super smooth. And then here, grips the rail, looks for the front 2, and just goes. Yeah, that's a miscue. To me, you can do that for style. You can do that for fun points to land kind of sideways. But to me, that looked as if he wanted to do the front side 270. Wasn't able to get the grip and the edge pressure necessary, so has to kind of just swivel it around.
If this was ballet skiing, that would be awesome, but it is not, and so it is not awesome, and he gets the deduction. So he stays with the 56.50 back to the top. Beautiful look at the peaks here at Copper Mountain. Alex Hall bumped to second place after Colby Stevenson drops a 94.25. So now the game is really on for the Americans.
Yeah, these two have battled a lot over the last 2 to 3 years. They're both so talented and so good at slopestyle that it's a back and forth challenge always between them to see who takes the top spot for the Americans. Switch, right side, double cork 1080, so smooth through the rails. Here he is into the jumps. Switch 12, where we see another 1620. Potentially with the signature Buick grab. Wow, Alex Hall bringing out another amazing run.
I did not think he had the speed for the sake. I was like, there's just no way he's got the speed, and somehow, yeah, he had the speed.
Just incredible to see him carrying the speed through. Here up top, look how smooth this is. Grinds to the full end of the rail, adds a little shifty in, an old school move with the twister there to go to switch, and then just calm, cool, and collected through the rails. And that's what the judges wanted. It makes it look easy when you watch Alex ski. And that transfer, that is not easy. That is a big gap over to that rail. Gets the pretzel out. So that rail section is a big improvement from run number 1. The big issue is these jumps, the same as we saw in the first run, but how was the grab again on this last one? He definitely got some deductions on run number 2 because of the grab, but that one looks good. Does he get the double grab or is it just the seatbelt? Oh, it's the seatbelt, but he holds it the whole time.
Just the
all
seatbelt.
The way to the landing. Huge improvement from that run number 2, and the rails are good. That's got to challenge Colby Stevenson in the top spot.
And he does go into first, 95.25. So he ups the ante on his friend Colby Stevenson, who goes into first place only momentarily, and he is now in first. He'll sit and watch as we send it down to Tina.
Yeah, and we were actually watching on the screen the grab on that last jump. Take us through that.
Oh, I don't even know. I wasn't thinking too hard. You just got to tuck as hard as you can to make these jumps. So I think we're all kind of just going with our gut feeling, not thinking about anything and just trying to send it.
You know what? A couple weeks ago, I was watching you in big air and tricks like 1980, the 1800s. To go back to this and be able to piece together a slopestyle, how much fun has it been?
Really, really fun. It's been tough for the speed, but we've been getting it done, and all the boys are trying their best. So it's just fun to be out here and make it work despite a little tough conditions. But the course is amazing, so it's been really fun.
Yeah, and you did just post a high score. Thanks so much, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Alex Hall now in first place, 95.25. You look at his line, and it's not terrible. 95.25, 91.75. His low score, 89.25. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, some incredible riding today from Alex. And you can really tell you land the first run, and it sets the mood for your day, and he showed us that today.
Evan McEachran now currently sitting in 5th place on his 3rd and final run here in the men's slopestyle final.
There, a little bit of a bobble, but really no issues up top, and adding some flavor with the backslide on that rail feature there in the middle of the jib feature for Evan. Clean through there, but he's gonna need to make some big improvements here on the jumps if he wants to jump up into the 90s and take over one of the podium spots from one of the Americans. Here's the bottom jump, switch 1440. Oh, and gets the amplitude. Where did he find the speed for that one?
And he carried that one almost down to I-70. That was an impressive final jump for Evan McEachran.
Wow, so top to bottom, gets the whole run. Let's take a look up top. There is a slight bobble here on the first rail section, but I think it's just cosmetic. He comes off, front side 1440. Does he put a hand down or anything? No.
A little outrigger on the left.
Yeah, a little outrigger, so it should be okay. Here's where he spins that backside 360 switch up, lands on 1 foot only. Really unique there.
Judge is not feeling that. They're going to keep him with his first run score of 86.
I think that outrigger, that bobble up at the top, I mean, I kept saying it, but maybe we forgot about it. You gotta be perfect. No matter how big and great that final hit is, the little backseat, the outrigger is just, that bobble is gonna hurt.
So Alex will sit and wait and watch. 95.25. I'm fairly confident going on a limb that he's going to be on the podium.
Yeah, I think if you were a betting man, you could pretty much guarantee that. But you got to watch out. Colby Stevenson dropping in that final spot has a chance to overtake him once again.
Here we go. Etienne Geoffrey Gagnon from Yukon Territories in Canada on course. 3-run format. Only your best run counts.
Oh, Etienne smooth through the top rail section there. Switch 270 off. So big consistent rail trick with that 360 switch up. And here's the double flat. So flat the way he spins. It's not flippy. It's smooth and around the shoulder. Unique. Here's the bottom jump. The 1440 reaches the tail grab. And that, even in first glance, you can tell he was holding that tail grab for way more of that massive rotation than we saw in that run number 2 where they really docked him on it. When the skiers have come down, and some of them mentioned to Tina Dixon that the course is a little difficult, a little challenging, are they talking about the overnight slough? Is it running slow? Is the snow a little grippy? Exactly, yeah. The overnight snow always slows things down. And this is a course that's built on a slightly flatter run. And these jumps are so big, so gnarly, that really to get over them, you got to have perfect conditions. So difficult, but I like what Alex said. No matter what, everybody's competing in the same conditions, and it's cool for me to see more tricks like that. The double flat spin 900, you don't normally see that anymore because the jumps are too big. You see too many big spins, and this is scaling it back, making everybody focus on their grabs, on their landings, on the variety that they can add to a run. And here's that 1440. Let's take a look at the grab. Oh, a little bit on the inside, so a little bit toxic, but is able to hold it pretty long. But judges, not enough for that one either, just an 81. Etienne, though, on improvement on every run today, so he ends up with that 80-1. A little bit of a program change here as Fabian Bosch is going to drop in. Nick Gepper is scheduled to go, but he's got an equipment issue, so he'll work on that. And you know, these guys are, as they said, all friends. It's like, you know what, Nick, we want you to do your best, get your ski fixed, whatever you have to do. I can drop. Fabian's always ready to go. Yeah, he is always ready to go. He's always ready to do a flip as well. I've never met somebody that's so good at everything gymnastic. He'll flip off of anything. Born with air awareness. Triple anything. Yeah, he's just born with it. Oh, and there's that switch on K-Fed with the backslide. So keeping the rails the same. Looking to probably up the ante on the jumps as he's done that rail line all 3 runs today. Do you see a difference in style from the skiers coming from Canada or Europe compared to what we're seeing from the Americans? Not necessarily. I mean, everybody really is on the same playing field. Today, it just seems like the Americans are on fire in terms of their ability to execute. Even that run from Fabian, he's got the 16:20 in the middle of the run, but there's so much spinning that leads into it. It's not grab the whole way like Alex Hall's trick is. So it's the execution. Like all these Europeans and Canadians, their skills and their tricks are really the same, but the Americans today just seem to be grabbing the skis better, getting the landings better, and just executing where it counts. If you made the final of the Dew Tour in men's slopestyle, you have the skills to win it. Yeah, exactly. And that's what's the beauty of slopestyle, is that really it is. Every course is unique, and every day is a different chance for any of these athletes to come out and win. And Fabian here, the right side double cork 10 is great. It's that final hit and that middle hit where he does a lot of spinning in. He definitely brought it today with this big 1440 on the final hit. It's just whether or not the judges are going to be able to give him it for that hit number 2 where he does a full wrapped up 1080 before getting into the grab, and they just don't love to see that. So he's going to stay, Fabian, with the 85.50 we got on run number 2. As those athletes that are done, they will sit and watch. Great sign of support, camaraderie. They want to see the progression. Oliver Magnusson now set to drop in, the penultimate skier on course. The number 2 qualifier needs better than a 95.25 to take the lead. He needs better than an 89.50 to get on the podium. Yeah, and really this is the only guy that can shake up the American sweep of the podium right now. Smooth through the rails there. That switch 450 landed perfectly centered on top of the rail feature. Might be my favorite feature is that first kicker. I'm waiting for someone to jump that Toyota Tundra. There you go. It's going right over it. Don't roof tap it, but just jump it. Oh, big spin. Oliver switch 1440. Okay. Needed a run, third and final run.
Oh, that was really good, Oliver. You might have just bumped me.
You could see them thinking, what's the deal with that one?
When you were competing, were you at the bottom doing the math in your head like,
Oh, you're definitely, if you know you're on a bubble spot or on the potential podium, there's somebody that can knock you off. You're watching every run. And Oliver here, there's the switch 450, gets that trick clean. Yeah, here's the feature you're talking about. Oh, caps the tail grab all the way out. Let's go of it a little bit early there, but able to just still spin it around. Now,
here's your truck.
The tricks in the run are good, but the execution, again,
not as clean.
It's just the grab's a little bit easier. He's grabbing the mute grab on both of those. Let's see if he gets it the whole way. Oh, gets it all the way out to the end, comes around. But still, I mean, the 16-20 from Alex, Colby Stevenson's rail line. It's hard to keep up with some of those guys with those scores in the 90s.
Is he rocking Hendrickson trousers?
Oh, he is.
Man, okay, Oliver Magnusson unable to break up the American sweep with that 85. So it's Alex Hall, Colby Stevenson, and Nick Gepper. So Nick Gepper, who had a equipment issue earlier, was given a pass. He will drop in, and then it will be Colby Stevenson. So the Americans will sweep the podium here due Tour 2021. The question is, where will their colors be? Will it be gold, silver, or bronze? Speaking of which, this man has a silver medal at the Olympics. He has a bronze medal at the Olympics. He needs to make Team USA so he can go for the gold medal in Beijing. Nick Gepper capable of it out of the skiing crazy town of Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Yeah, where all great skiers hail from. No, but the Midwest does. I mean, all you need is a rail
yard,
some jumps, and a small hill, and you can get as good as Nick Gepper, and it's an amazing story to see. So great to see him back on top. And he's sitting in third. He knows he's guaranteed a podium place, but he doesn't want third. He's used to seeing that top of the podium. So look for him to bring it all out on this third and final run. Oh, the pretzel just squeaking that one around. And the rail line, he's through and finished with it. Tons of technicality into these jumps.
2 to go.
Switch. Double. 1260 holds on to it.
Nope.
Not enough.
That minor bobble. I mean, he was just in the back seat for a fraction of a second. And it just goes to show you your point, how big these jumps are. You can't mess around with your speed.
No, exactly. And you could tell he didn't even attempt that final jump. If you're not perfect on that landing, you're not going to be able to clear that third one. But, I mean, Nick, what a result today. He's had some trouble getting on the podium recently. So here to come out and for an American sweep, we still got Colby Stevenson to go. So there's still some potential to shake up the leaderboard. But 3 Americans on the podium. And what does that say leading into Beijing 2022? I mean, this is an event the Americans have been good at. We had the American sweep in 2014. Wow. Couldn't see it again.
Here we go. Colby Stevenson, the #1 qualifier, currently sitting on a 94.25. He needs to be better than a 95.25 to take the win. Guaranteed himself at least second place here at Dew Tour 2021.
Yeah, Colby Stevenson, Alex Hall have been battling for years now, and I don't think it's ever going to stop. And he doesn't want to relinquish that first place position. Oh, that 270 frontside 450 is so smooth. There's the nose butter. Double cork, 1080 tucking into the second jump. Gets the right side, 1260.
This is for the big cash.
Will he go 14? Will he tuck it to the 16? 1440 with the scale grab. Oh,
Alex can appreciate that.
So does the same run that got him the 94.25. Did he land that final jump better? He had a bit of a squat on the landing, so wasn't perfectly executed. That definitely could be it. Let's take a look back through this and try to break it all down. Here's that 360, a full spin switch up, so going fully blind on that second part of it to land on that rail. Everything needs to be perfect in this run if he really wants to take over and get a 95.25 or better.
How clean he caught that rail.
Just incredible the way that second rail feature. There's the 360 switch up, and then just high speed disaster bounces off that bottom kink of that rail. And then, I mean, the nose butter is a great addition to that run. So unique. He's got the 1260 into the final 1440. So there's the top angle. Really lets you see. When I call it a nose butter, it's because he's pre-spinning the first 180 degrees of that 1080 and doing it off the noses, using the flex and the press of those skis. And here's the bottom jump. This is where he could have made an improvement because he did have a little bit of a bobble on run number 2, but he also held the stale grab a little bit longer, I think.
Oh!
Misses it.
Missed it the first time, but went back and got seconds.
Got it the second time. So, I don't know. That I would hate to be a judge right now with Alex Hall in that top spot and his teammate, fellow American Colby Stevenson. That's really close.
Wait for the score to come down. So we saw it in slow motion. Nice way to examine it. Colby Stevenson needs better than a 95.25 to take the win. How about that? 96.25, and Colby Stevenson claims the title at Copper. Holy smokes, what a run, what a battle. The Americans sweep the podium. Colby Stevenson, the #1 qualifier, with the win. Alex Hall second, Nick Gepper in third. Tina Dixon standing with the man of the hour.
Wow, the last competitor to go, and you did it. You bumped yourself up to the top of the podium. What does it what does it mean to win here at the Dew Tour?
It's so insane, like the amount of years I've been doing Dew Tour and like never had a good result. Like tore my shoulder out in 2018 on the last jump in finals, and then like got 4th 2 years ago when we had it here. And yeah, to just come out here, I learned that nose butt dub 10 today and just put all that down and come down to the last run. I don't know if I've ever clutched up like that. Like watching Alex get that 95, I was like, trying not to look at the screen. I was like, oh, I gotta focus on this. It's insane. So excited.
Yeah, and you cleaned up the landing on that last jump. What were you telling yourself there?
I was coming into it like, I think I'm going really fast, like should have enough speed, and then almost missed the grab. And then once I got that, it was like gonna stomp.
We talked earlier about this, but it was a sweep by the Americans for this event. What does that say about the opportunity going into Beijing?
I mean, it's insane to have all 3 Americans on top, and I mean, it's different every competition, but yeah, it just shows that our team's been putting in work and we're ready for what's to come.
Congratulations on this win, Colby.
Thank you so much.
Colby Stevenson out of Park City, Utah gets the win. Alex Hall, also out of Park City, Utah, finishes in second. And Nick Gepper from Lawrenceburg, Indiana, finishing on the podium in third. It's the fact that he had no base layer and the reptile print, I think, that gave him the extra points that he needed, because that final jump was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, such good speed, gets the amplitude, goes big on that final jump, gets the stale grab, and just great execution. I mean, Colby Stevenson, and we talk about the American sweep, but also in Mac Forehand, who has got some good results from last season, also looks good heading into Beijing. I mean, I would hate to be anybody else leading into that slopestyle final.
As you look at it right now, do you think that's Team USA going to Beijing for slopestyle?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That looks really good, especially seeing all those guys make the finals here in that incredible showdown that they just had. I mean, I would not be surprised at all to bet on that as our foursome heading into slopestyle for Beijing.
You think about Alex Hall dropping in 95.25, and you're thinking, all right, game over. Colby, great job. #1 qualifier. You'll finish in second. But he comes out and has something to say to the tune of 96.25, not to mention the fact that he quoted Ricky Bobby when he was speaking with Tina Dixon.
Yeah, I did love it. That was amazing. And I mean, really just everybody today, that whole top spot, for the issues with the speed, we saw that there is some fresh snow and it's hard to get over the jumps, but they're perfect landings, tuck into the next jump, and all 4 of those Americans in 1, 2, 3, and 4 were able to just execute when the time came.
Stepping up in the big pressure moments, and that's exactly what they've done. Alex Hall doing a great job. Colby Stevenson, as you said, Nick Gepper. Remember, he was towards the bottom. Then he had that malfunction with his ski, but good enough on his second run to put himself in a second and then a third position with an 89.50. Nick Gepper needs those results. And for Mac Forehand, not on the podium, but those points, very valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still got a lot of events left. For Nick especially, he needed a big result. He's not sitting high up on the FIS ranking, so that's not the way he's going to get in. He's going to get onto the U.S. team by getting podium results, and a third place today is a great way to start.
All right, let's go back and look at some of the highlights. We'll start with third place. As we said before, Nick Gepper, the pride of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, struggled early on, but it was the second run where he put the magic down.
Yeah, smooth here with the big 450s out of the rails, the double flat spin, gets it all the way out with that double Japan grab, and then just the 1260 at the end, but the grab is good. So really just didn't have that big 1440 that some of these other athletes did, including Alex Hall. Here all day he had scores. His lowest score of the day of 3 was in the 89s. So just a dominant performance here. And really, it would have been his day if not for Colby Stevenson.
Yep.
He has this 1620 at the bottom, the biggest rotation we saw from anybody all day. And you can hear him. He's stoked. And I mean, it would have been his day if not for this guy.
But what's in the water in Summit County up in Park City? You guys are going crazy up there.
Exactly. And Nick Gepper as well lives in Salt Lake right now, still skis and trains in Park City. So all three of these athletes skiing and training up in Park City, Utah. But Colby Stevenson, I mean, the big 1440, way more amplitude on that final jump. It was really his day at the end of the day to put it all down at the third and final run. The American sweep is complete.
Colby Stevenson, Alex Hall, Nick Gepper, top 3. Mac Forehand finishing in the 4th position. So the American sweep +1. Team USA looking very good with Beijing now coming up in February. We send it down
ladies
to DC.
And gentlemen, it is time to get underway here with our podium presentation for men's ski slopestyle finals. So before we get underway, let's get a big round of applause for all the men throwing down out here this afternoon. And before I bring up our podium finishers, I'd like to introduce to you our very special guest, our award presenter. We've got the Dew Tour VP and General Manager, Courtney Gressick. Courtney, thanks for being on hand with us. And with no further ado, your top 3. In third place, let's hear it for Nick Gepper. Yeah, can we get a woo? Let's hear it for Nick Gepper, third place finisher. And in second place, hands together for Alex Hall. And again, let's hear it for your second place finisher, Alex Hall. And rounding out the USA sweep of the podium, his first Dew Tour podium, and he's doing it in style, ending it on top. Let's hear it for Colby Stevenson!
Congrats, son. You guys?
Again, your champion, Colby Stevenson, and your USA sweep of the podium.
That hasn't happened in a while.
All right, thank you very much, DC. Congratulations once again. Coming up next is the Toyota Adaptive Bank Slalom. Amy Purdy and Brad J will have the call. And Tom Wallace and I will be back for the women's slopestyle final. That's coming up at 12:30, but it was Colby Stevenson today that came out. Look at his line. His scores were impressive. 82, 94, 96.25. Tom Wallace, that's how you win a competition.
Yeah, exactly. You see what's going down, and you could tell the advantage of going last. He saw what his fellow teammate Alex Hall put down, and he knew that he needed to up the ante, go better, get that landing cleaner, and just incredible to hear him talk to Tina. He learned that nose butter double cork 1080 today. And that's what the kids are doing these days. They're learning tricks out here in the field to add to their run, and just an incredible performance by Colby Stevenson. Love it.
All about the style. Colby Stevenson, Alex Hall, Nick Gepper, they get the sweep of the podium in the men's slopestyle final with Mac Forehand, the other American, finishing in 4th place. Coming up next, Toyota Adaptive Bank Slalom. Amy Purdy and Brad J will have the call. Dew Tour is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the Dew. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is a letter that I wrote myself right when I got home from the hospital after losing both my legs. I was 19 years old. Okay, so let's see if I can do it. Okay. I'm here and I'm alive. And I know why I'm alive. Because I wanted to be. Oh, I can't do it. Being able to snowboard like I do, or being able to dance, being able to work out, just doing all the stuff that I do, it's taken 20 years to get here. So to now possibly lose that was terrifying. This was the first time that I felt limited. This is the first time that I felt pain, that I felt disabled at times. This is the first time that I've had to heavily rely on others, like my husband, Daniel. I love you, babe. It's not easy. I'm used to being so independent. This has given me a completely different perspective on what so many people go through. It's made me more of a whole person because I'm experiencing the depths of life, like the highs of life, but also the lows of life. It's like, you know, everything's still so raw for me right now. I want to be able to kind of share the things that I've learned and that I'm learning along the way. So, for the second time in my life, my world has flipped upside down. And for the second time in my life, it makes me want to cry, but I'm fighting to walk again. I think it does just add to the work that I already do. I try to relate to people, whether it's on stage or through social media or just in person, so that they feel like they're not alone. From me to you, whatever you are, be it all the way. What I've seen just through social media, like when I share my story, the amount of people who share their stories and what they're going through makes me realize just how many people are going through struggles and obstacles and challenges, no matter how big or how small. We relate to each other when we're vulnerable. You know, those stories we're scared to share, the stories that we feel like embarrassed by, or that make us feel a little bit uncomfortable, sometimes those are the stories we should be sharing because they make us human and that connects us all. Okay, so this is it. I'm here and I'm alive, and I know I'm alive because I wanted to be. I feel stronger by my choice. I see it in my eyes, I see it in my smile, I see it in my skin, my family, and my friends. I'm more fulfilled now, more than I was before, because I shed my shell. And I feel comfortable with that, because I've accomplished so much just by being here right now. And just having enough faith that the universe is my guide, and everybody around me are my angels, and I'm theirs. I have no feet, but I have my spirit, and my passion to learn are my wings. We can get so attached to thinking like life will begin when I'm better. And in our minds, we think better means what we were before. But, you know, you can be even better by just embracing where you are today. It's not about stepping back into who you were, it's stepping forward into who you could be.
And a very big welcome to Tour Copper Mountain Day number 3. And it's all about the adaptive bank slalom presented by Toyota. We got the men, we got the women. They're ready to do battle out here for the fastest time. And I'll tell you what, I am honored and so stoked and a little teared up right now to be joined by Amy Purdy, and a 3-time Paralympic medalist. Amy, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, so good. I wasn't expecting that to play, so we were all tearing up.
We both are. We're both crying right now. All right.
Yes, it's amazing to be